Chapter 447, A Powerful Slaying of the Enemy, Annihilating the Invading Forces. The aura around Lu Bu, who had broken through to the perfected Saint King realm, completely erupted. He looked at Wang Xingchen in front of him with extreme arrogance. And of course, Lu Bu at this moment had the capital to be arrogant. After all, he had already broken through to the perfected Saint King realm. He swiftly brandished the heavenly halberd in his hand and began a fierce battle with Wang Xingchen. Lu Bu unleashed a powerful strike, cleaving towards Wang Xingchen. Seeing this, Wang Xingchen quickly raised the long saber in his hand to block. However, the current Lu Bu was no longer the Lu Bu from the beginning of the battle, so the power of this move far exceeded what the initial Lu Bu had displayed. As a result, Wang Xingchen was directly sent flying by this terrifying blow. His eyes still held a hint of disbelief. But no matter what, he could not escape the fact that he had been sent flying by Lu Bu's attack. Lu Bu, who had sent Wang Xingchen flying with a single blow, continued to wield his heavenly halberd and charged towards Wang Xingchen. The next second, the heavenly halberd in his hand, like a purple meteor, directly struck the long saber in Wang Xingchen's hand. Terrifying power collided with the long saber in Wang Xingchen's hand. Then, two sounds of clashing weapons were heard, and the long saber in Wang Xingchen's hand began to tremble violently at the moment of impact. The heavenly halberd in Lu Bu's hand, however, was held steady by his immense power, so it naturally did not tremble at all. Subsequently, the great battle between Lu Bu and Wang Xingchen commenced. Before his breakthrough, the battle between Lu Bu and Wang Xingchen was subtly even, but now, after the breakthrough, Lu Bu instantly gained the upper hand in their battle. This meant that the current Lu Bu could already suppress ordinary early-stage great sage powerhouses. While Lu Bu was suppressing Wang Xingchen, Zhao Zilong, with a long spear in his hand, once again killed a late Saint King Wang family elder. Zhao Zilong's strength had greatly improved this time, so in just a few breaths, he had killed another late Saint King Wang family elder. Moreover, as the late Saint King elders of the Wang family were slain, the other Saint King level elders of the Wang family found it increasingly difficult to deal with Zhao Zilong. After all, at first, with these late Saint King Wang family elders assisting them, they naturally had an easier time dealing with Zhao Zilong. But now, their Wang family's late Saint King elders had fallen, leaving only their four perfected Saint King realm elders. Therefore, their situation became difficult. As time slowly passed, the long spear in Zhao Zilong's hand once again pierced through another perfected Saint King realm elder of the Wang family. The perfected Saint King realm elder of the Wang family looked at the long spear in his throat with disbelief. He had not expected that he, a powerhouse of the perfected Saint King realm, would one day fall in this northern region. And moreover, he fell at the hands of a cultivator of the same realm as him. Even more humiliating was that several Saint King realm powerhouses of their Wang family had ganged up on one person. Yet he, a Saint King, still fell. The death of this perfected Saint King realm elder of the Wang family also brought shock and desolation to the eyes of the other Wang family elders. At this moment, they wanted to escape, but looking at Zhao Zilong, who was like a god of slaughter in front of them, they knew they couldn't. And the truth was exactly as they thought. Zhao Zilong increasingly suppressed the Wang family Saint King in front of him. The dragon gallbladder, bright silver spear in his hand, emitted streaks of silver-white light. The next second, another perfected Saint King realm elder of the Wang family in front of him was killed. His body directly fell from the sky. Moreover, the remaining two perfected Saint King realm elders of the Wang family were now unable to withstand Zhao Zilong's attacks. They only held on for a few breaths before the last Saint King level elder of the Wang family was also killed by Zhao Zilong. After accomplishing all this, Zhao Zilong slowly returned to Azure Cloud Boy's side. He did not bother with the corpses of these Saint King level elders of the Wang family. Then, Zhao Zilong turned his gaze towards Lu Bu's direction. At this moment, Lu Bu, relying on his powerful strength, had already begun to suppress Wang Xingchen. Wang Xingchen even had many scars on his body now, and these scars were all caused by Lu Bu's heavenly halberd. The most severe among them was the terrifying and hideous scar on Wang Xingchen's back. That was a dreadful blow from Lu Bu that directly created a huge wound on Wang Xingchen's back. As Lu Bu continuously suppressed Wang Xingchen, a look of anger instantly appeared on Wang Xingchen's face. Then he instantly forced out his essence blood, and at the same time, a fiery red flame instantly erupted from his body. And at this moment, the aura around Wang Xingchen also began to slowly change. It was as if he had become completely demonized. But what did demonization matter in front of Lu Bu, who possessed a divine demon physique? Lu Bu leaped high into the air, and the next second, the heavenly halberd in his hand flew out. Like a sharp blade, it shot directly towards Wang Xingchen. Wang Xingchen saw this, and a fiery red shield instantly appeared in front of him. This fiery red shield seemed to want to completely protect Wang Xingchen within it. However, an incredible scene occurred. The heavenly halberd from Lu Bu's hand, like a sharp blade, lightly cut through this fiery red shield. Then, with an unstoppable force, it directly pierced into Wang Xingchen's chest. In Wang Xingchen's stunned gaze, this heavenly halberd directly penetrated his chest. This caused Wang Xingchen's aura to instantly vanish. At the same time, Wang Xingchen's entire body fell directly from the sky. His eyes held unwillingness and desolation. However, in the end, he could only quietly close his eyes. Wang Xingchen, a prodigy of his generation, never expected that he would ultimately fall in this barren northern region. After Wang Xingchen's fall, Yuan Tuo also knew that the two grand elders of the Wang family were of no use anymore. So, he directly drew the Xianyuan sword from his waist and gently caressed its blade. It was as if he was reminiscing about an old friend. Then his Xianyuan sword directly slew the two grand elders of the Wang family. The two grand elders of the Wang family were killed by Yuan Tuo without even a chance to resist. This was Yuan Tuo's suppression over them. At the same time, this was the strength of Yuan Tuo, a great sage perfection realm powerhouse. Therefore, if Yuan Tuo had wanted to kill them, he would have probably done so long ago. Waiting until now was merely Yuan Tuo ensuring no accidents, which is why he spared their lives until this point. But now that Lu Bu and Zhao Zilong had both broken through, what use were the two of them being kept alive? Chapter 448, The Great Sage's Demise and Strange Phenomena Arise. Crimson flowers of the Great Tao fill the sky. The two grand elders of the Wang family probably died with their eyes wide open, never expecting that they great saint-level experts would fall in the northern region. Moreover, they fell at the hands of a force they had never heard of, and most importantly, they didn't even have a chance to react when they died. After completing all this, Yuan Tuo wiped the blood from the Xianyuan sword, then slowly embraced the Xianyuan sword once more. As the members of the Wang family fell, a celestial phenomenon finally appeared in the sky. A blood-red celestial phenomenon instantly rose from their location and continued to expand. The initial celestial phenomena caused by the fall of those Saint King level experts were not particularly spectacular. Only a few surrounding cities witnessed them. However, a blood-red rain also began to fall in the vicinity. Even the craters created by the recent battle were instantly filled by this blood-red rain. Of course, after this blood-red rain fell to the ground, it transformed into vibrant small grasses or trees that grew rapidly. This was akin to cultivators giving back to the land, making the vitality of the earth continuously expand. And the cultivation of the cultivators in the surrounding cities also slowly increased due to this blood-red rain in the sky. It could be said that if an evil cultivator's strength reached that of a top-tier expert, then perhaps this evil cultivator could, using the celestial phenomena of these great saint and saint king level cultivators, enhance the cultivation of the cultivators in their respective areas. The cultivators in nearby cities, feeling the increase in their cultivation, looked up at the blood-red celestial phenomenon in the sky with distant gazes. How is this possible? A Saint King level expert has fallen around us. Didn't the great battle end long ago? Why is there still a Saint King level expert falling here? A cultivator looked at the blood-red celestial phenomenon in the sky, muttering in disbelief. At this moment, his heart was filled with incredulity. He hadn't expected there to still be a blood-red celestial phenomenon in the sky. One must know that such a celestial phenomenon only appears when a Saint King level expert falls. And at this moment, it wasn't just this cultivator who felt incredulous. The surrounding cultivators also disregarded their increasing cultivation and instead looked at the blood-red celestial phenomenon in the sky with disbelief. Yes, didn't the Great Xia Dynasty completely take over the entire northern region? Why is there still a Saint King level expert falling now? Has an even more powerful enemy appeared within the Great Xia Dynasty? Or is there something in our northern region that attracts these top-tier experts, causing them to appear here? I hope the Great Xia Dynasty can protect the northern region. Otherwise, what awaits us might be a massacre by these experts, because who knows if these experts will directly slaughter us. Alas, it's truly a turbulent time. The Great Xia Dynasty just ended the war in the northern region, and now another Saint King level expert has fallen. I hope this great battle won't affect us. Looking at the celestial phenomenon in the sky, the cultivators of the northern region silently prayed. At this moment, though they were incredulous, what they most hoped for was that this great battle would not affect them. After all, a great battle between experts of Saint King level and above was like world-destroying to them. For a Saint King level expert to destroy a city, it was simply effortless. Therefore, many cultivators began to hope at this moment. Of course, they hoped that these top-tier experts would not wage war in their locations. And just after the discussions among these cultivators ended, another blood-red grand flower appeared in the sky, slowly rising as if it were a flower of the great Tao. At the same time, this flower of the great Tao fully manifested in the sky above the northern region. Instantly, all cultivators in the northern region noticed this blood-red flower of the great Tao in the sky. As everyone looked at this blood-red flower of the great Tao in the sky with disbelief. At this moment, two more flowers of the great Tao appeared below the sky, and these two flowers of the great Tao emitted an aura of sorrow, as if the entire world felt sorrow for these two flowers of the great Tao. Three blood-red flowers of the great Tao instantly dyed the entire sky of the northern region a blood-red hue. Everyone looked at these three flowers of the great Tao in the sky with incredulous gazes. At this moment, they didn't know what these flowers of the great Tao in the sky meant. However, a hint of sorrow appeared on their bodies, as if something sad had happened in their hearts. Even those who were initially happy now shed tears uncontrollably, as if the heavens themselves wanted them to cry. What's going on? How can these eerie, blood-red grand flowers appear in the sky, and three of them at once? Yes, I feel very sad right now. But wasn't I happy because my cultivation breakthrough? Why am I so sad now? So, it's not just me who feels sad in my heart. But I shouldn't be sad. Why is this happening? Have our emotions been affected by these three eerie, blood-red, grand flowers in the sky? But what exactly are they that they can influence our emotions? At this moment, the cultivators of the northern region looked at the three blood-red flowers of the great Tao in the sky with incredulity, because they found that their emotions were being influenced by these three blood-red flowers of the great Tao in the sky. However, since the strongest expert that had ever appeared in the northern region was only a Saint King realm expert, they did not know the origin of these three blood-red flowers of the great Tao. After all, the most powerful expert in the northern region was only a Saint King level expert. So, when had a great saint level expert ever fallen in the northern region? This is the celestial phenomenon that appears only when a great saint level expert falls, as in legends. How could a great saint level expert fall in my northern region? At this moment, an elder among the many cultivators stared at the blood-red flower of the great Tao in the sky with disbelief and horror in his eyes, his trembling finger pointing at the blood-red flower of the great Tao in the sky. At the same time, he also revealed the origin of these three flowers of the great Tao. I could see that the elder's eyes were completely filled with incredulity at this moment. Chapter 449, The Strange Phenomenon of the Fall of a Great Sage-Level Expert Shocks the Northern Region and Incites the Wrath of the Royal Family of the Central Region. Clearly, this old man knew about the existence of the Tao flower, but his eyes were filled with disbelief, because he knew that one Tao flower represented the fall of a great saint-level expert. Yet now there were three blood-red Tao flowers in the sky above their northern region, which meant that three great saint-level experts had fallen in the northern region. As the old man spoke, the disbelief in his eyes grew even stronger, and the surrounding cultivators, upon hearing the old man's words, were instantly filled with shock. Senior, are you saying that these strange blood-red flowers in the sky appear when a great saint-level expert falls? But how could our northern region have great saint-level experts? A young man asked, looking at the old man with horror in his eyes. His voice completely reached the surrounding cultivators, who then looked at the young man and the old man with complicated expressions and disbelief. So these strange flowers in the sky are the heaven and earth phenomena that appear when a great saint-level expert falls? As expected, it's terrifying. I thought those blood-red flowers in the sky were something else. So this is the heaven and earth phenomenon when an expert above the Saint King level falls? I never thought the fall of an expert above the Saint King level would be so horrifying. But how could an expert above the Saint King level fall in our northern region now? After all, Saint King level experts are already considered the strongest existence in our northern region. Yet now, an expert above the Saint King level has fallen. Isn't this too shocking? Perhaps all of this was caused by the Great Xia Dynasty. After all, only the Great Xia Dynasty would have experts above the Saint King level. Besides them, I can't imagine who would possess such terrifying strength. If it really was caused by the Great Xia Dynasty's experts, then how powerful are the Great Xia Dynasty's enemies? At this moment, the cultivators who knew the origin of these Tao flowers in the sky could no longer sit still. They had not expected that these blood-red Tao flowers in the sky were actually the result of great saint-level experts falling. At the same time, it also gave the cultivators of the northern region a deeper understanding of the Great Xia Dynasty. At this point, they finally knew how powerful the Great Xia Dynasty truly was. They also finally understood why the Great Xia Dynasty could so easily conquer the entire northern region. Of course, besides understanding the Great Xia Dynasty's strength, The cultivators of the northern region were now even more wary of the Great Xia dynasty. At the same time, their hearts were filled with a touch of panic. And it wasn't just the cultivators of the northern region who felt panic now. Even the entire Overlord Blade sect in the northern region looked at the Dao flowers in the sky with expressions of disbelief. As one of the top forces in the northern region, they naturally understood the phenomenon of a great saint-level expert falling. Although they had never had a great saint-level expert appear, some people in their sect had naturally ventured into the central region, so they naturally knew what the phenomena in the sky represented. I never thought that 3 great saint-level experts would fall in our northern region, and all at once. It seems the Great Xia dynasty is indeed not as simple as we imagined. A Saint King-level Grand Elder said, looking at the heaven and earth phenomenon of great saint-level experts falling in the sky, his eyes filled with disbelief. At the same time, this Saint King-level Grand Elder's eyes also held a hint of relief. It seems the Great Xia dynasty's strength is far from as simple as we imagined. Our allegiance to the Great Xia dynasty this time seems to have been the most correct choice. The sect master nodded silently after hearing the Grand Elder's words. At that moment, a hint of relief instantly appeared in his heart. If they hadn't surrendered to the Great Xia dynasty at that time, perhaps they would have already been completely reduced to dust in the long river of history. The surrounding elders also nodded silently after hearing the sect master's words. If it weren't for the sect master and their old ancestor Grand Elder surrendering, then they would probably have already completely fallen. At this time, Chu Fan in the northern region naturally also saw the phenomena in the sky, but even before the heaven and earth phenomena appeared, he already knew. One reason was his confidence in Yuan Tuo and the others, and the other was that his system space had already received the message of the completed mission. So, Chu Fan understood from the beginning that these great sages had already fallen. However, Chu Fan did not use the system's reward this time. After all, this time the system only rewarded 1 great sage summoning card and 3 Saint King summoning cards. For Chu Fan, currently, apart from summoning cards above the Great Saint level, other summoning cards were not of much use. As for the Saint King summoning cards, he planned to exchange them for Great Saint level summoning cards and then summon Great Saint level experts. But this time, he only received 3 Saint King summoning cards, so he naturally couldn't exchange them for 1 Great Saint level summoning card. Just as the people of the Wang family fell in the northern region, at this moment, the Wang family in the central region, the Wang family completely became lively. Several Wang family Grand Elders instantly appeared in the main hall of the Wang family. Because at this time, these Great Saint-level Grand Elders naturally also sensed that 2 Wang family Grand Elders had fallen, and Great Saint-level Wang Xingqian had also fallen. As for the fall of those Saint King-level Elders of the Wang family, it was not too surprising to them. After all, it was not too difficult for their family to cultivate a Saint King-level cultivator. The most difficult thing was to cultivate Great Saint-level experts. I never thought that the northern region would cause my Wang family to lose 3 Great Saint-level experts and 7 Saint King-level cultivators. It seems the northern region is indeed not as simple as we imagined. What do you plan to do next? A mid-stage Great Sage Grand Elder of the Wang family slowly stood out and spoke, looking at the Grand Elders and the family head in the main hall. However, as he spoke, a terrifying anger emanated from him. Clearly, he was filled with intense fury towards the northern region at this moment. To be able to kill 3 Great Saint-level experts of my Wang family, the northern region is probably not as simple as we imagined. If we want to go to the northern region for revenge, we must at least awaken one of the Wang family's foundations. A late-stage Great Sage Grand Elder of the Wang family also slowly stood out and spoke at this time. As he spoke, a look of solemnity was in his eyes. And the other Grand Elders of the Wang family, upon hearing the Grand Elder's words, instantly looked at him with incredible gazes. Chapter 450 Speculations within the Wang family. Instability among the Wang family branches. One must know that the Wang family's foundations are quasi-emperors or experts on the verge of breaking through to the quasi-emperor realm. Therefore, if one were to truly awaken a foundation, wouldn't that be making a mountain out of a molehill? Even the Wang family head at this moment looked at his Grand Elder with a hint of doubt in his eyes. Although the northern region appears unremarkable, this time 3 Great Saint-level experts from our Wang family were killed, and 2 of them had reached the mid-stage Great Sage. Therefore, the experts in the northern region must at least be in the late-stage Great Sage or even Great Sage Perfection realm. So, if we want revenge, we must awaken a foundation. The Wang family Grand Elder slowly spoke after seeing everyone staring at him with shocked expressions. After all, among the great sages from the Wang family who went to the northern region this time, there were 2 mid-stage Great Sages. Moreover, they surely hadn't been in the northern region for long. To be able to kill 3 Great Saint-level experts from their Wang family so quickly The Northern region must possess late-stage Great Sage or even Great Sage Perfection realm experts. So, to be absolutely safe, he felt that their Wang family should awaken a foundation. Grand Elder, I think we should first investigate the deaths of Wang Xingqian and the others before deciding what kind of expert to send to eliminate those who are hostile to our Wang family. As soon as the Grand Elder finished speaking, the Wang family head, with a flicker of light in his eyes, slowly stepped forward and said, after saying this, the Wang family head even displayed a look of righteous indignation, as if he were about to avenge Wang Xingqian. And the other Grand Elders, upon hearing the Wang family head's words, also turned their gazes towards him. They naturally knew about the grievances between the Wang family head and Wang Xingqian. So at this moment, their hearts were naturally filled with a hint of doubt. It's not that I don't want to avenge Wang Xingqian, but Grand Elders, have you ever considered how a small northern region could possess Great Saint-level combat power, and even the ability to kill 3 Great Saint-level experts from our Wang family? Don't you find that strange? When the Wang family head saw the Grand Elders of the Wang family all looking at him, his face showed no expression, but rather a look of someone considering the family's best interests. And after his words ended, the Grand Elders of the Wang family present also reacted. At first, they were mainly focused on avenging Wang Xingqian, their minds filled with anger, so they hadn't thought of this point. But no matter what, they were old monsters who had lived for thousands of years, so how could they not think of this point? You mean that this time, a top power from the central region might have interfered? Then, a Wang family Grand Elder slowly stepped forward and asked the Wang family head, though his words carried a hint of certainty when he reached this point. Because besides the top powers of the central region, it seemed no other power could achieve this. Which power from the central region dared to interfere and directly kill 3 great sages from our Wang family? This is too disrespectful to our Wang family. Upon hearing the words of this Grand Elder, a hot-tempered Grand Elder of the Wang family also stood out at this moment and said angrily. He was now thoroughly convinced that the power that killed the 3 great saint-level experts of their Wang family was one of the top powers of the central region. And the other Grand Elders were also indignant at this moment. Clearly, they also had this speculation in their hearts. After all, if it weren't for a top power from the central region, it seemed there really was no so-called power that could kill 3 great sages from their Wang family. And only top powers from the central region would not fear their Wang family. If that's the case, then how do you plan to resolve this matter? After all, this doesn't just affect the Wang family's reputation, and if Wang Tong finds out about Wang Xingqian's death, he probably won't let it go. We need to give him an explanation. The Grand Elder of the Wang family, who had not spoken until now, also slowly stepped forward and looked at the Wang family head, saying, however, when he reached this point, his eyes were indeed full of scrutiny as he stared at the Wang family head. At this moment, he had to suspect that this matter was related to the Wang family head. After all, they naturally knew the relationship between Wang Xingqian and the Wang family head, and this time Wang Xingqian's journey to the northern region was also the best opportunity for the Wang family head to act. I request that the family mobilize all its scouts to investigate this matter, but the premise is not to alert the enemy. The Wang family head, facing the gaze of this Grand Elder, naturally showed no fear, as the matter was not his doing in the first place. However, when the Wang family head heard that this Grand Elder wanted an explanation for Wang Tong, a hint of anger still arose in his heart. It was just that at this moment, he naturally did not vent the anger in his heart, but instead looked at his Grand Elder with a calm expression. If that's the case, then I will handle this matter. I don't want any unfriendly incidents to occur during this period, and I also don't want your shadow behind this matter. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. The Grand Elder calmly looked at the Wang family head and said. At this moment, he did not put the Wang family head in his eyes at all, and he also did not intend to hand over this matter to the Wang family head for investigation. Instead, he planned to investigate it himself. And the other Grand Elders, upon hearing the words of this Grand Elder, instantly turned their gaze towards the Wang family head. At first, they naturally did not have such thoughts, but after hearing the Grand Elder's hint, their gazes were tightly fixed on the Wang family head. Since the Grand Elder doesn't trust me so much, then the Grand Elder can first take away my position as family head. The Wang family head was also very angry after hearing the Grand Elder's warning, but at this moment, he still suppressed the anger in his heart and looked at the Wang family Grand Elder, saying, and the other Wang family Grand Elders, upon hearing the Wang family head's words, also shook their heads helplessly. If they were to take away the Wang family head's position as family head at this moment, then perhaps the entire central region would laugh at them. What's more, if this matter really wasn't done by the Wang family head, then how would they face the Wang family head's lineage at that time? One must know that the Wang family head's lineage possesses several quasi-emperor realm experts. If a conflict were to arise, it would not benefit them in the slightest. The Wang family might even be completely split due to their actions. I didn't say you did it. The position of family head remains in your hands, but you don't need to interfere in this matter. The Wang family Grand Elder from before naturally also understood the seriousness of the matter, so he changed his attitude slightly and slowly spoke to the Wang family head. However, even so, the Wang family Grand Elder still did not intend to let the Wang family head interfere in this matter. Chapter 451 Internal Problems Within the Wang Family. Wang Long suspects his father. Although this matter might not have truly been done by the Wang family head, they were naturally very clear about the relationship between the Wang family head and Wang Xingchen. Furthermore, this Wang family Grand Elder was on Wang Xingchen's side, so he naturally had to give an explanation to the remaining prodigy, Wang Tong. After all, Wang Tong was the hope of their Wang family. The other Grand Elders also nodded after hearing the words of this Grand Elder. Evidently, they also agreed with this Grand Elder's opinion. Of course, the Grand Elders of the Wang family head's lineage looked at the Grand Elder who had just spoken with furious expressions. After all, the Grand Elder who had just spoken had already reached the Great Sage Perfection realm. But he showed too little regard for the Wang family head's lineage. The Grand Elder's power is truly great. He can abolish my position as family head if he wishes, and let me continue to hold it if he wishes. I'm afraid even the old ancestor in the ancestral land doesn't have such great power. The Wang family head was naturally very angry at this moment. After all, he was a great saint-level figure, and he controlled the entire Wang family. Moreover, the Wang family's Grand Elders and the Wang family head were originally in a state of balance. That is to say, the Wang family's Grand Elders had no right to abolish the position of the Wang family head. Only if several Grand Elders of the Wang family discussed and reached a final decision could the Wang family head's position be abolished. But the words of this Wang family Grand Elder just now clearly overstepped this boundary. That's why the current Wang family head was so angry. As the Wang family head's words fell, the Grand Elders of the Wang family head's lineage instantly seized upon this point. It seems Grand Elder Wang Lai thinks that since he broke through to the Great Sage Perfection realm during this period, he no longer regards us so-called Grand Elders with weaker cultivation as important. Then, a late-stage Great Sage Grand Elder slowly stepped forward and said in a sarcastic tone. His words were full of strong provocation and hostility. In an instant, all the Grand Elders present turned their gazes to the face of this Wang family Grand Elder. The other Grand Elders, who were originally planning to watch the show, also felt a surge of vigilance in their hearts. Although these Grand Elders of the Wang family all hoped that the Wang family could quickly grow and become a truly top-tier force, and it could even be said that these Grand Elders of the Wang family all hoped that a great Emperor-level expert could emerge from their Wang family. But as time went on, these Grand Elders also had their own lineages. If all the power was controlled by the Grand Elder who just spoke, then how could they just give up? Many Grand Elders now looked at the face of the Grand Elder from Wang Xingchen's lineage, who had just spoken, with unfriendly gazes. And the Grand Elder from Wang Xingchen's lineage, upon seeing the expressions on the faces of the other Grand Elders, instantly darkened. During this period, because he had broken through to the Great Sage Perfection realm, and coupled with Wang Xingchen's strong talent, and even more so, Wang Xingchen's son Wang Tung's talent was even stronger. Therefore, this Grand Elder had been so arbitrary, but at this moment he had indeed overlooked that the Wang family was not just their lineage. If he truly angered the other Wang family lineages, then perhaps their lineage would truly suffer a severe blow. Thinking of this, he also silently sighed in his heart. He then slowly looked at the Wang family head and began to explain, but this explanation was also for all the Wang family Grand Elders present. Because of Xingchen's demise just now, I felt some anger in my heart, which is why I said those words. Today, this old general is truly sorry to you. After speaking, this Wang family Grand Elder also left directly. He did not intend to wait for the Wang family head to speak, nor did he intend to let the Wang family head get involved in this matter. After all, this Wang family Grand Elder's suspicion of the Wang family head had not been dispelled, and the Wang family head, after hearing the words of this Grand Elder, looked at the direction of the Grand Elder's departure with a hint of disdain in his eyes. He then slowly cupped his hands to the other Grand Elders present, and then he also left the Wang family's main hall. The Wang family head, who had left the main hall, also went to his own palace. At this moment, his son was already waiting for the Wang family head here. Wang Long, seeing his father walk in, also slowly stood up and bowed to his father. At this moment, the Wang family head's face was filled with an excited smile. Although the initial event indeed made him feel very angry, Wang Xingchen's demise was a very wonderful thing for him. The old fellow Wang Xingchen has fallen. Next, we only have Wang Tong to deal with. Although Wang Tong can be considered a prodigy, what waves can he stir up in front of us? Then, the Wang family head waved his hand at Wang Long and returned to his seat. He He then directly told his son the news of Wang Xingqian's demise. "Father, is Wang Xingqian's demise related to you?" Wang Long, after hearing his father's words, instantly showed a hint of surprise on his face, but soon a hint of worry appeared on his face as he looked at his father. He naturally knew that his father had been trying to find a way to deal with Wang Xingqian some time ago, and now Wang Xingqian had already fallen. So it was hard for Wang Long not to suspect his father. Thinking of this, Wang Long stared intently at his father. At the same time, there was a hint of worry in his gaze. If it was truly done by his father, then if this matter were exposed, his father would definitely be judged by the old ancestor. Moreover, Wang Long himself did not want Wang Xingqian to fall outside. Although Wang Long and Wang Teng were originally competing with each other, but Wang Long felt in his heart that as long as the Wang family could grow, even if he couldn't get the position of Wang family head, he would still be fine with it. Wang Long even felt that he could even protect Wang Teng as he grew up. "What are you saying, you brat? While I am happy about Wang Xingqian's demise, I truly had no part in this matter." The Wang family head, after hearing Wang Long's words, instantly walked up to Wang Long and patted his head. Although he indeed wanted to kill Wang Xingqian had already fallen before he even had a chance to act. If the Wang family head were to act, he would at least wait for a suitable opportunity, and it would not be so soon. Chapter 452 Wang Long's Thoughts. Wang Teng, the peerless prodigy of the Wang family. Otherwise, if he rashly takes action, the Wang family will definitely notice. Although he is the Wang family head, if the Wang family truly finds out that he attacked Wang Xingqian, then it is likely that his time as the Wang family head would be over. Even the old ancestor of their lineage who is in the quasi-emperor realm might not step forward to protect him. In that case, who in a mere northern region could kill Wang Xingqian? Moreover, Wang Xingqian has two grand elders at the mid-stage great sage beside him, and the strongest cultivator in the northern region is only at the Saint King realm. After Wang Long heard his father's words, he looked at his father with great confusion. However, at this moment, Wang Long truly believed his father's words. After all, Wang Long's father would not hide things from him, and everything the Wang family head was currently doing was to ensure Wang Long could grow up. Therefore, no matter what the Wang family head did, he would inform Wang Long. Thus, Wang Long began to wonder who in the northern region could possibly kill Wang Xingqian and the other three great saint-level experts of the Wang family. Perhaps the ones who killed Wang Xingqian and the others this time were not true northern region cultivators. After all, the strength of true northern region cultivators couldn't possibly reach the great saint level. Moreover, to kill all of them, the attacker must be an expert at the late-stage great sage or even the perfection realm. The northern region cannot possibly have such powerful cultivators. After the Wang family head heard Wang Long's words, he looked at Wang Long with a serious expression and spoke. At the same time, a trace of solemnity was visible in his eyes. Although Wang Xingqian's death was indeed a good thing for him, the enemy who killed Wang Xingqian this time was definitely not weak. Moreover, no one knew whether the enemy who killed Wang Xingqian this time would target their Wang family. If the enemy who killed Wang Xingqian targeted their Wang family, then even he, the Wang family head, could not stand idly by this time. Of course, he was currently unable to investigate the circumstances of Wang Xingqian's death. After all, that grand elder of the Wang family did not intend to let him interfere. Thinking of this, the Wang family head could only sigh helplessly. If that is truly the case, then we should quickly find the real culprit behind Wang Xingqian's death. Otherwise, the murderer who killed Wang Xingqian might target the experts of our Wang family next. After Wang Long heard his father's words, a solemn expression appeared on his face, and he slowly spoke to his father. After speaking, his gaze drifted toward the sky. Even if I want to find the killer now, I have no way to search. The Grand Elder does not intend to let me act, so currently, I can only wait for news within the family. The Wang family head said helplessly after hearing his son's words. In fact, he had thought the same thing initially. That is why he had planned to actively search for the mastermind behind Wang Xingqian's killing. However, the Wang family Grand Elder would not let him act, so even if he wanted to intervene now, he couldn't. Since that is the case, Father, we can only wait for the result. Wang Long looked stunned after hearing his father's words, but he quickly recovered. Then, with a worried look in his eyes, he gazed toward the main hall of the Wang family. While Wang Long and the Wang family head were conversing at another residence within the Wang family. At this moment, a youth wearing a golden battle robe was sitting inside a seclusion chamber cultivating. However, the youth in the golden battle robe suddenly frowned. Then, he suddenly opened his eyes, which held a trace of bewilderment. At the same time, a golden light emanated from his eyes, a light that seemed capable of piercing through time and space, looking toward the future and the past. What exactly is going on? Why have I been feeling uneasy these past few days? Following this, the youth wearing the golden robe muttered with confusion in his eyes. This person was none other than Wang Tong, the peerless prodigy of the Wang family. His cultivation had already achieved a breakthrough to the middle true king realm, but over the past few days, he had constantly felt uneasy. Several times, he had even woken up from his secluded cultivation, nearly causing him to suffer a chi deviation. Forget it, forget it. Since I cannot achieve a breakthrough in my cultivation, I will leave seclusion early. This young master will see exactly what is causing this persistent unease in my heart. Wang Tong muttered to himself somewhat helplessly as he felt the surging power within his body. After speaking, he slowly stood up. He then gently pushed open the large door in front of him. Following this, Wang Tong slowly stepped outside. Just as Wang Tong appeared outside, two figures rushed toward him. This subordinate greets, young master. These two figures quickly spoke to Wang Tong upon arriving before him, but their faces were etched with worry. They looked at their young master with urgency in their eyes. Did something happen these past few days? Wang Tong asked, somewhat confused, as he looked at the two anxious figures before him. However, he vaguely felt that the events outside must be related to the unease in his heart. Therefore, his expression began to change. Reporting to young master, the elder master has died in the northern region. Upon hearing Wang Tong's question, the youth in front of him slowly spoke to Wang Tong. After speaking, the youth's eyes held a trace of complexity, but this complexity quickly turned into determination. What did you say? As soon as Wang Tong heard the youth's words, a terrifying aura instantly erupted from his body, and this terrifying aura directly shook the two figures in front of him backward. The two figures were then seen crashing directly into the palace behind them. Wang Tong had not yet reacted, staring ahead with disbelief in his eyes. Clearly, he had not yet processed the news he had just received. However, he quickly noticed the two figures in front of him who were now in a very sorry state, so he calmed down and withdrew the aura emanating from his body. Only then did he slowly walk over to the two of them. What exactly happened? Explain it clearly to me. He then directly questioned the two people in front of him, but it was clear that Wang Tong's face was terrifyingly grim at this moment. It could even be said that Wang Tong had currently bottled up all his rage. If anything went wrong, he could instantly unleash the fury in his heart. The two youths standing before him were filled with both disbelief and fear in their eyes, because only they knew how terrifyingly powerful Wang Tong would be if he truly unleashed his anger. Chapter 453 Wang Tong's plan caused a sensation throughout the Wang family. The two young men in front of Wang Tong, after hearing his words, did not hesitate and immediately recounted the entire story. They started from the beginning, when the clansmen of Wang Tong's lineage in the northern region were killed by others, and ended with the news of Wang Tong's father, Wang Xingchen, falling in the northern region. After the two finished speaking, a terrifying gloom appeared on Wang Tong's face. At this moment, Wang Tong was on the verge of erupting. The two young men in front of him were so suppressed by his aura that they dared not speak, and their gazes did not dare to meet Wang Tong's. After a long while, Wang Tong finally let out a long breath, then looked in the direction of the Wang family grand hall with a hint of killing intent in his eyes. How can mere natives of the northern region kill my father? I'm afraid someone else was involved in this matter. After speaking, the killing intent in Wang Tong's eyes completely erupted. He looked like a true, living god of slaughter. Of course, at this moment, he did not believe that his father, Wang Xingchen, had fallen into the hands of northern region natives. In his heart, he already had a suspect in mind. That was why his gaze was so full of killing intent when he looked towards the Wang family grand hall. Young master, the Grand Elder did not allow the family head to interfere in this matter. The Grand Elder intends to investigate the person behind this matter alone. One of the two young men in front of Wang Tong slowly spoke to him again, but after speaking, his eyes were filled with a hint of worry. Because as a follower of Wang Tong, this young man naturally knew Wang Tong's temper. Therefore, he knew that Wang Tong would not let the matter rest. Does it still need investigation? If he didn't do this, I wouldn't believe it. Wang Tong scoffed after hearing the young man's words, then looked towards the Wang family head's residence with undiminished killing intent in his eyes. They still want to continue investigating, but this young master doesn't have that much time to wait for them to continue investigating. Then, he gently turned his gaze to the two young men beside him, and with a crazed look in his eyes, he stared at the residence where the Wang family head was located. The two young men in front of Wang Tong instantly understood his meaning after hearing his words. They tried to stand up to stop Wang Tong, but Wang Tong's aura suppressed them, preventing them from moving. Although these two young men were considered top prodigies in the Wang family, in front of Wang Tong, they appeared somewhat weak and vulnerable. Then, Wang Tong, holding a golden long spear, flew directly towards the Wang family head's direction. At the same time, the aura of his middle true king realm completely erupted, clearly indicating that Wang Tong intended to cause a major disturbance. Moreover, Wang Tong himself was very clear that with his talent, the Wang family head would not dare to do anything to him. At the same time, after he truly caused a ruckus in the Wang family old ancestor would definitely intervene. At that time, it would be very easy to find out the truth of the matter. It could be said that Wang Tong, as a generation's prodigy, was extremely intelligent. He knew where his advantages lay. "Wang Long, get out here!" Then, Wang Tong's voice instantly echoed throughout the sky above the Wang family. He was clad in golden battle armor, holding a golden long spear, standing in the sky above the Wang family head's residence. He looked like a god of war. At the same time, the aura he emitted instantly attracted the attention of everyone in the Wang family. Even the Wang family Grand Elder all looked up at Wang Tong in the sky. Oh no, Wang Tong actually chose to directly attack the Wang family head. With his strength, he might be directly suppressed. The Grand Elder of Wang Tong's lineage showed a hint of helplessness in his eyes when he saw this scene, but he quickly turned his gaze towards the Wang family head's residence. A fierce look appeared in his eyes. Clearly, the Wang family head had completely offended him. No matter what, Wang Tong is the most top-tier prodigy of our Wang family. So this time, we cannot let anything happen to him. At this moment, another Grand Elder also looked at Wang Tong in the sky, a hint of interest appearing in his eyes. At the same time, a look of urgency was on his face. Although Wang Tong is the most top-tier prodigy of our Wang family, his actions this time show no regard for us. One must know that no matter how powerful a prodigy is, they're only truly a prodigy when they have grown up. This time, let him suffer a little loss. That's right, no matter how bold Wang Xingyun is, he wouldn't kill him. So this time, let it be a lesson for Wang Tong. We'll bring him back after Wang Tong has caused enough of a ruckus. Several Grand Elders of the Wang family also looked in Wang Tong's direction and spoke, but at this moment, they did not choose to immediately intervene to stop the Wang family head and Wang Tong. After all, Wang Tong was, no matter what, a top prodigy of their Wang family, but disrespecting them in such a way, they naturally chose to let Wang Tong suffer a little. Moreover, the Wang family head was already angry, and if they continued to stop the Wang family head this time, perhaps the anger in the Wang family head's heart would completely erupt. At that time, it would be a loss for them, the Grand Elders of the Wang family. Thinking of this, the several Grand Elders of the Wang family naturally had no intention of intervening. Of course, what was most shocking at this moment was probably the various prodigies of the Wang family. They never expected Wang Tong to be so bold as to directly come to the sky to challenge Wang Long. It could even be said that Wang Tong was not challenging Wang Long at this moment, but rather challenging the dignity of the entire Wang family. What's going on with Wang Tong? Is he planning to challenge the entire Wang family? One of the Wang family's prodigies said, looking at Wang Tong in the sky with a hint of schadenfreude in his eyes. Although Wang Tong was their Wang family's most top-tier prodigy. However, Wang Tong's arrogance made them feel a little angry, which is why they were now looking at Wang Tong in the sky with such schadenfreude. Yes, he actually dared to directly challenge Wang Long. Although Wang Long's strength might not be as strong as his, isn't Wang Tong slapping the family head's face? Could it be that Wang Tong has become arrogant after his breakthrough to the true king realm? Who cares if he's arrogant or not? Anyway, Wang Tong's father, Wang Xingchen, has already fallen, so the position of family head cannot be theirs. I'm really looking forward to how the family head will deal with Wang Tong. The prodigies present also began to discuss after hearing this prodigy's words. However, at this moment, their gazes towards Wang Tong carried a hint of pity. After all, in their opinion, although Wang Tong was the most top-tier prodigy of their Wang family, Wang Ting no longer had anyone backing him up. They naturally also knew about Wang Xingchen's fall. Otherwise, how could they be so gleeful? Chapter 454 The Self-Righteous Wang Tong, Fan Zhong's Anger. Of course, at this moment, Wang Tong's voice naturally reached Wang Long and his son's ears. Wang Long frowned after hearing Wang Tong's voice. He hadn't expected Wang Tong to choose to challenge him directly, but Wang Long naturally understood Wang Tong's thoughts at this time. After all, no matter what, the biggest beneficiaries of Wang Xingchen's demise were their family, so it seemed perfectly normal for Wang Tong to challenge him now. Thinking of this, Wang Long quickly transformed into a streak of light and ascended into the sky. He looked at Wang Tong in front of him with a hint of helplessness in his eyes. At this moment, he didn't know how to explain this matter. After all, besides himself, no one would probably believe that Wang Xingchen's demise had nothing to do with the Wang family head. One must know that even the Wang family Grand Elder suspected that Wang Xingchen's demise was related to the Wang family head, let alone Wang Tong, Wang Xingchen's son. However, if Wang Long didn't explain it well now, then no matter how powerful Wang Tung's talent was, he would surely make a grave mistake today. Thinking of this, Wang Long slowly looked at Wang Tung in front of him. "Cousin, why do you come to see me this time?" Then, Wang Long looked at Wang Tung with a helpless and somewhat angry expression. He hadn't expected this peerless prodigy of their Wang family to come looking for trouble so directly. One must know that for a true prodigy to grow, it's not just about their talent, but also their mentality. But now, Wang Tung was clearly blinded by anger. This was also why Wang Long felt angry towards Wang Tung. "Stop feigning before this young master. I just want to know if my father's death is related to your father." Wang Tung also looked at Wang Long and said angrily. In Wang Tung's eyes, Wang Long was a hypocrite. Therefore, Wang Tung was extremely angry at Wang Long right now. One could even say that not attacking Wang Long now was already the best outcome. "I can assure you that my father did not act in this matter." Wang Long had naturally guessed Wang Tung's thoughts long ago, so he looked at Wang Tung opposite him and said helplessly. But after speaking, his gaze slowly drifted towards the members of the Wang family. His words seemed to be an explanation to the members of the Wang family. Of course, Wang Long also believed that his father had not participated in killing Wang Xingqian. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to say it so easily and directly. After all, Wang Long was a true king of the Wang family, no matter what. "Ha ha, cousin says it so simply. Do you think I'll believe it? And, cousin, do you think the members of the Wang family will believe it? How could a small northern region possibly cause my father's demise there?" Wang Tung immediately laughed after hearing Wang Long's words. Then, he looked at Wang Long with an undeniable gaze and said. After speaking, Wang Tung turned his gaze to the members of the Wang family, and at the same time, the chi of his middle true king realm was completely released. His entire expression was filled with anger. He wished he could directly attack Wang Long in front of him. "If cousin doesn't believe it, you can investigate. If this matter is related to my father, I will let cousin deal with me as you wish." Wang Long also stepped forward with a hint of helplessness and said to Wang Tung. After speaking, his eyes still held a hint of determination. And after his words fell, it completely made the members of the Wang family begin to admire Wang Long. Because the members of the Wang family naturally knew the relationship between Wang Tung's lineage and Wang Long's lineage. However, everything Wang Long usually did also proved that Wang Long was the best choice for the next family head. Because Wang Long was not as arrogant as Wang Tung, and Wang Long was also not as jealous of prodigies as the current Wang family head. Therefore, Wang Long was the best choice for the next family head. Even the Grand Elder, at this time, felt some pity for Wang Long. After all, Wang Long was a very excellent existence in their hearts, but Wang Long was born in the wrong era. His talent could indeed make him the most top-tier prodigy of the entire Wang family, but in the era Wang Long lived in, there was an additional peerless prodigy like Wang Tung. If it weren't for the peerless prodigy Wang Tung, then Wang Long would definitely be the most top-tier prodigy of the Wang family. In fact, Wang Long's talent was also good. It might not be particularly difficult for him to break through to the Quasi-Emperor realm, but it would be very difficult for him to break through to the Great Emperor realm, and he might even have no chance to break through to the Great Emperor realm. This was also why the Wang family Grand Elder and Old Ancestor all chose Wang Tung. Of course, there's still some Grand Elder and Quasi-Emperor level Old Ancestor who choose Wang Long. And these Grand Elder and Quasi-Emperor who choose Wang Long are from Wang Long's lineage or friendly with Wang Long's lineage. What can you, Wang Long, guarantee with? Can your life be compared to my father's life? And Wang Tung, after hearing Wang Long's words, looked disdainful. In his opinion, Wang Long should be suppressed by him, and one could even say that in Wang Tung's opinion, Wang Long was just a supporting character. He was the only protagonist in this world, and his father was incomparable. One could even say that in his eyes, even the destruction of the entire Wang family could not compare to his father. However, Wang Tung naturally had his own intelligence, although his father's demise made him extremely angry. But at this time, he had not lost his reason due to anger. Instead, he planned to use the Wang family Grand Elder and Old Ancestor. Only in this way could he avenge his father in advance. And only in this way could he obtain more resources to grow. This was the true Wang Tung. As Wang Tung's words fell, the prodigy of the Wang family below also looked at Wang Tung with angry expressions. This Wang Tung is too disrespectful to the prodigy of our Wang family. Although Wang Xingqian was considered a top-tier prodigy back then, Wang Long's talent, no matter what, is stronger than Wang Xingqian's. A prodigy who supported Wang Long said with an angry expression, looking at Wang Tung in the sky. As he spoke, he also had a righteous demeanor. That's right, and now Wang Xingqian is dead, so there's no comparison between Wang Xingqian and Wang Long at all. Wang Tung is still too arrogant. He thinks that all the prodigy of our entire Wang family are weak and vulnerable in front of him. Does he really think that because his talent is strong, he can ignore all the prodigy in the world? I've heard that the cultivation of prodigy from other places are not weaker than his. If such a person is the next family head of our Wang family, then does such a Wang family really have hope? The disciples of the Wang family looked at Wang Tong and said with unfriendly expressions. Usually, he was already acting arrogantly in the Wang family. But they hadn't expected Wang Tong to dare to insult Wang Long, the young family head, so they naturally felt angry. Chapter 455: The Wang family's anger at Wang Tong and the Wang family head's excitement. At this moment, it wasn't just the Wang family disciples, but even the Wang family elders and grand elders who were frowning in Wang Tong's direction. They hadn't expected Wang Tong to be so unreasonable. I originally thought that after giving Wang Tong a lesson, he would be a bit more restrained, but now it seems Wang Tong doesn't understand the meaning of family. A Wang family elder said, frowning at Wang Tong in the sky, and at the same time, a hint of anger could be seen in the elder's eyes. Indeed, if the family is truly handed over to such a person in the future, will it really be more prosperous than it is now? Another elder, after hearing the first elder's words, also stared thoughtfully at Wang Tong in the sky, posing his own question. At this moment, he seemed to have already envisioned the Wang family under Wang Tong's leadership in the future. Although Wang Tong's talent was indeed a rare genius in the central region for tens of thousands of years, given Wang Tong's current heart nature, if their Wang family were truly led by Wang Tong in the future, it might not be as good as it is now. Thinking of this, many elders lost confidence in Wang Tong. Even many elders at this moment did not favor Wang Tong. If it really comes to that, even if I die, I will support young Master Wang Long to be the next family head of our Wang family. That's right, young Master Wang Long's talent is already among the most top tier, and his way of handling matters is also very suitable for the position of family head. If a choice truly needs to be made then, perhaps I too will cast my vote for Wang Long. Perhaps only Wang Long can lead our Wang family forward. Wang Long might not be able to lead our Wang family to greater heights, but he can lead our Wang family through this era. However, if the Wang family is in Wang Tong's hands, it might reach greater heights, but might also completely fall into a situation where it is carved up by major powers. The elders present also began to discuss amongst themselves at this moment, especially after hearing the words of those two elders just now. Now, these elders were not very optimistic about Wang Tong. In fact, it could be said that these old elders had already begun to disfavor Wang Tong. They all turned their gaze towards Wang Long. Before Wang Tong was born, Wang Long was the most top-tier prodigy of the Wang family. In fact, at the very beginning, they had placed all their hopes on Wang Long. But unexpectedly, another peerless prodigy, Wang Tong, appeared in the Wang family. This was why they had turned their attention to Wang Tong, but now they found that Wang Tong's heart nature was insufficient. This was also the reason for the Wang family elders' worry. At this moment, the Wang family grand elder did not discuss like the Wang family elders, but they were also very clear in their hearts that Wang Long was more suitable to be the Wang family's family head than Wang Tong, this prodigy. However, they were currently unable to change the Wang family old ancestor's decision. After all, the Wang family old ancestor was, in any case, stronger than these grand elders. Moreover, no matter how bad Wang Tong's heart nature was, his talent was undeniable. Thinking of this, the Wang family grand elder merely frowned, then continued to look at Wang Tong and Wang Long in the sky. At this moment, in the main hall of the Wang family head looked at Wang Tong in the sky with a hint of playfulness in his eyes. I was wondering how to deal with you, but I didn't expect you to deliver yourself to my doorstep. Although this young master cannot directly deal with you, I'm afraid the entire Wang family will not favor you from now on. As the Wang family head, he naturally heard the discussions of the Wang family elders and disciples. So, the Wang family head's face was beaming with joy. He was even happier now than when he first received the news of Wang Xingqian's demise. One must know that Wang Xingqian had been his opponent for hundreds of years. In fact, Wang Xingqian and he had 1,000 years of grievances. But now he was even happier than when Wang Xingqian fell, and all of this was caused by Wang Tong himself. Of course, Wang Tong, who was in the sky at this moment, naturally also heard the discussions of the Wang family disciples and Wang family elders below, as these Wang family disciples and Wang family elders had no intention of hiding anything from Wang Tong. So their voices had no trace of concealment. How presumptuous! How dare they disregard this young master like this? Do they really think this young master takes a long time to grow, or do they not wish to see the Wang family truly become the #1 family in the central region? After this young master deals with the Wang family head's lineage, I will deal with these parasites. Wang Tong also looked angrily at the Wang family disciples and Wang family elders below at this moment. And at the same time, he silently swore in his heart that he would deal with all those in the Wang family who slandered him. Of course, Wang Tong's primary target right now was Wang Long, who was opposite him. So he looked at Wang Long in front of him with a hint of resentment in his eyes. Because at this moment, he blamed everything on Wang Long. If it weren't for Wang Long, these elders wouldn't have spoken like that, and these disciples wouldn't have been so unsupportive of him. Then, a golden light instantly appeared in his hand, and the golden light shot directly toward Wang Long. In an instant, a golden light could be seen streaking across the sky. Then it directly attacked Wang Long without any mercy. Wang Long, seeing this scene, also did not expect Wang Tong to dare to attack him like this. Then, he looked at Wang Tang's direction with some disappointment. The next second, a silver-white light emanated from Wang Long's body. This silver-white light instantly formed a radiance, blocking the golden light in front of him. Then, the golden light directly disappeared into the silver-white radiance in front of Wang Long. I didn't expect you to have also broken through to the true king realm. It seems this young master underestimated you. Wang Tong was also somewhat surprised to see this scene. He didn't expect Wang Long, who was opposite him, to have broken through to the true king realm, but a hint of disdain could still be seen at the corner of his mouth. Clearly, even if Wang Long broke through to the true king realm, he still did not favor Wang Long. Then, he instantly began to form hand seals. The next second, a golden light instantly rose from behind him. A resplendent golden sword also appeared within this golden light. This resplendent golden sword directly appeared in Wang Tong's hand, and this resplendent golden sword also exuded a terrifying pressure. Instantly, the entire space became extremely oppressive. Even Wang Long, who was opposite Wang Tong, had a hint of shock in his eyes. At the same time, his eyes were fixed on the resplendent golden sword in Wang Tong's hand. Chapter 456: The Arrogant and Self-Important Wang Tong and the Overlooked Prodigy Wang Long. As the young master of the Wang family, Wang Long naturally knew the origin of the precious sword in Wang Tong's hand. Is this the Dragon Abyss sword? Then, Wang Long muttered as he gazed at the brilliant golden sword in Wang Tong's hand. However, he quickly snapped back to attention, and a silver-white heavenly halberd instantly appeared in his hand. Simultaneously, the presence emanating from his body immediately soared. In the next second, the Dragon Abyss sword in Wang Tong's hand struck directly towards Wang Long. The terrifying power instantly split the air and the sky in half, and the Dragon Abyss sword carried this immense force straight toward Wang Long. Seeing this scene, Wang Long immediately used the heavenly halberd in his hand to block the attack. In the next second, the Dragon Abyss sword and the heavenly halberd slammed into each other. The terrifying force instantly sent both individuals flying backward simultaneously. However, Wang Tong was, after all, the Wang family's most elite prodigy, so this collision only caused him to take a few steps back, whereas Wang Long transformed into a streak of silver-white light and was sent hurtling away. He flew through the sky for a long time before finally coming to a stop. Clearly, even though his cultivation had achieved a breakthrough, the gap between him and Wang Tong was still vast. However, Wang Long did not simply accept defeat at this moment. Of course, he had not truly lost to Wang Tong yet, so he held the heavenly halberd, brimming with battle intent, and charged toward Wang Tong. Upon seeing this, Wang Tong flashed a contemptuous smile, and then instantly hurled the Dragon Abyss sword from his hand. Subsequently, a terrifying streak of golden light tore through the sky above the Wang family, and that terrifying power shot directly toward Wang Long. Witnessing this sight, Wang Long had no choice but to dodge the streak of golden light. After all, it was still quite difficult for him to directly withstand this golden light. Thus, he instantly twisted his body and changed direction. The golden sword narrowly grazed past Wang Long. However, immediately after the golden sword grazed past Wang Long, it changed direction. As if it had locked onto Wang Long, it flew directly toward him once again. Seeing this, Wang Long immediately used the heavenly halberd in his hand to defend against this terrifying attack. Then, the golden sword struck directly onto the heavenly halberd in Wang Long's hand. The terrifying force made Wang Long's hands tremble uncontrollably. Simultaneously, the power transmitted through his heavenly halberd sent his entire body flying backward. In the next second, Wang Long smashed directly into the Wang family courtyard like a meteor. Instantly, a deep crater appeared in the Wang family courtyard, and he was immediately enveloped by the surrounding dust and smoke. Meanwhile, Wang Tong held the returning Dragon Abyss sword and gazed down at the dust cloud with utter disdain. At this moment, he looked like a high and mighty god, and Wang Long below was like one of the common people he looked down upon. This was the foundation of Wang Tung's arrogance. Although he was indeed extremely conceited, his talent was undeniably terrifying. At this moment, Wang Long slowly crawled out of the dust cloud. The light emanating from the heavenly halberd in his hand began to slowly dim. However, the battle intent on Wang Long's face had not diminished in the slightest. In fact, his battle intent was even more vigorous now. Simultaneously, the silver-white light within his body continued to flow into the heavenly halberd. In the next second, Wang Long, holding the heavenly halberd, immediately launched an assault against Wang Tung. Although the previous collision made him realize he was no match for Wang Tung, Wang Long did not choose to end this great battle just yet. Then, he instantly transformed into a silver-white beam of light and appeared before Wang Tung, swinging the heavenly halberd in his hand directly toward Wang Tung's head. The terrifying power instantly cleaved the surrounding spiritual energy. Seeing this scene, Wang Tung finally displayed a hint of seriousness on his face, but it was only a mere hint. Then, he lightly raised the dragon abyss sword in his hand and casually blocked the heavenly halberd descending from the sky. However, the power emanating from Wang Long's body this time far exceeded his imagination. The terrifying power was transmitted directly from the dragon abyss sword in his hand into his body. Subsequently, his body trembled violently in the sky. In the next second, he plummeted directly from the sky, as if he were cannon fodder. Then, without any surprise, he smashed directly onto one of the Wang family's great halls. Instantly, Wang Tung completely vanished from everyone's sight. One could only vaguely see streaks of golden light emanating from the ruins of the Wang family area. This scene shocked all the disciples and elders of the Wang family. Even the high and mighty grand elders were now looking at Wang Long in the sky with expressions of disbelief. At this moment, Wang Long stood panting heavily in the sky. Although his previous strike had sent Wang Tung flying, it had also forced him to unleash his true strength. I didn't expect Wang Tung to actually be at a disadvantage, and this is happening while he is one minor realm higher than Wang Long. It seems Wang Long's strength is not as weak as we imagined. An elder said this, staring at Wang Long in the sky with some surprise. Although they initially thought Wang Long would be a good next family head, Wang Long's talent was still inferior to Wang Tung's no matter what. But they hadn't expected Wang Long to be able to send Wang Tung flying, an outcome he had deemed impossible. Although Wang Long's strike completely sent Wang Tung flying, Wang Long's strength is still no match for Wang Tung's. His previous attack was nothing more than a surprise move. Another elder shook his head after hearing this elder's words. One must know that Wang Long in the sky was panting heavily. If Wang Tung recovers, Wang Long will definitely not be his opponent. That's true, but this will ensure Wang Tung doesn't underestimate his opponent in the upcoming battle. Even so, Wang Long's cultivation will at least be able to grow to the Great Saint realm in the future, which is a decent existence in our Wang family. It's a pity if only Wang Long possessed talent like Wang Tung. I'm afraid that once Wang Tung recovers, he won't need many moves to defeat Wang Long. The other elders also chimed in agreement after hearing this elder's words. At this moment, they could naturally see that although Wang Long had just sent Wang Tung flying, he had indeed struggled greatly. Therefore, Wang Long was likely going to lose the upcoming battle. Chapter 457 The Strength of the Peerless Genius Wang Tung puts Wang Long at a disadvantage. Of course, at this moment, the most shocked were probably the prodigies of the Wang family. Although Wang Long was considered a good prodigy in their Wang family, it could even be said that among the prodigies of the Wang family, Wang Long's strength was among the most top tier. However, Wang Tung's reputation was indeed resounding. It could even be said that all the prodigies of the Wang family believed Wang Tung was their Wang family's strongest prodigy. But they hadn't expected Wang Long to actually be able to send Wang Tung flying. He even knocked Wang Tung himself into the main hall. It seems the young family head's talent is not as simple as we imagined. Perhaps all of us have underestimated the young family head's strength. If not for Wang Tung, the young family head would be the most top-tier prodigy in our Wang family, so his talent naturally surpasses that of ordinary prodigies. Is this Wang Long's true talent? It seems we all underestimated Wang Long's true talent and strength before. However, even so, Wang Long cannot defeat Wang Tung. After all, Wang Tung is, in any case, the most top-tier prodigy of my Wang family, and also considered a top-tier prodigy in the entire central region. It's a pity Wang Long was born at the wrong time. Otherwise, he could definitely crush other prodigies. The other prodigies also began to discuss amongst themselves at this moment. Everyone realized at this point how powerful Wang Long's talent was. At the same time, they also felt pity for Wang Long. If Wang Long had been born in another era, he could definitely have become a top-tier prodigy of that era. But this current era has Wang Teng, an unparalleled prodigy. Then Wang Long cannot contend with Wang Teng in this era, unless Wang Teng can fall prematurely. But how could these grand elders and powerful individuals of the Wang family allow their own peerless prodigy to fall prematurely? Everyone who thought of this began to feel pity for Wang Long. At this moment, the Wang family head in the family head's main hall was also very satisfied to see his son's performance. Longer's talent is indeed worthy of being the most top-tier existence in my Wang family for thousands of years. If it weren't for that scoundrel, then in the future, the entire Wang family would be Longers to command. He looked at Wang Long standing in the sky with eyes full of pride, but soon a hint of gloom appeared in his gaze as he looked towards Wang Teng in the ruins. If it weren't for the many grand elders still watching in the Wang family, the current Wang family head would probably have directly attacked and killed Wang Teng. After all, his son was so powerful. How could he allow others to become his son's stumbling blocks? And this stumbling block was also so extraordinarily talented. Just as everyone was looking at Wang Long in the sky with regretful eyes, a terrifying chi also emanated from the ruins at this moment. Then, a golden light instantly shot out from the ruins. This golden light seemed to pierce through the entire sky, making a golden light instantly appear in the sky above the Wang family. The moment this golden light appeared, a hint of solemnity finally appeared in Wang Long's eyes. Although Wang Long was very serious about Wang Teng regarding the great battle, Wang Long naturally could not stop there. Otherwise, it would have a great impact on his future growth. And at this moment, the ruins beneath that golden light in the Wang family also slowly began to emit one vibration after another. Then, those ruins began to slowly fly towards the sky. The next second, Wang Teng, who was in the ruins, slowly walked out, holding the Dragon Abyss sword in his hand. At the same time, Wang Teng casually brushed off the dust from his shoulders. His eyes were filled with a terrifying killing intent as he stared at Wang Long in the sky. He hadn't expected Wang Long to be able to knock him down so easily at this moment. One must know that no matter what, Wang Teng was the most top-tier prodigy of the Wang family, and he was the kind of prodigy who could crush an entire era alone. But he hadn't expected to fall into Wang Long's Dao now. Thinking of this, the anger in Wang Teng's eyes was not hidden in the slightest. It was directly unleashed. Then his entire being instantly transformed into a golden light and stood in the sky. He looked at Wang Long with anger in his eyes. Good, very good. I didn't expect you to have grown to this extent, but you can only grow to this extent. Then, the killing intent in Wang Teng's eyes was unleashed without any concealment, and the Dragon Abyss sword in his hand also trembled repeatedly. The next second, his entire being transformed into a golden light and charged towards Wang Long's direction. Seeing this scene, Wang Long also hurriedly raised his heavenly halberd to block this golden light. A terrifying force instantly smashed onto the heavenly halberd in Wang Long's hand. The next second, Wang Long himself was directly sent flying backward. However, Wang Teng at this moment had no intention of letting up. The Dragon Abyss sword in his hand once again emitted a golden glow. Then, a golden sword light, several thousand zhang long, directly slashed down from the sky. Wang Long, who was originally flying backward, also quickly wielded the heavenly halberd in his hand when he saw this scene. The next second, a silver-white light instantly emanated from Wang Long's body, directly blocking this golden sword light from the sky. However, the terrifying golden sword light directly penetrated this silver-white light and landed on the heavenly halberd in Wang Long's hand. The terrifying force once again sent Wang Long himself flying backward. At the same time, this time, Wang Teng transformed into a golden light and pursued Wang Long's figure. Clearly, Wang Teng had no intention of letting Wang Long go at this moment. Seeing this scene, Wang Long naturally also quickly wielded the heavenly halberd in his hand. He wanted to use the heavenly halberd in his hand to block Wang Teng's Dragon Abyss sword. But indeed, Wang Long succeeded, because the heavenly halberd in his hand did indeed block Wang Teng's Dragon Abyss sword. He even forced Wang Teng back a few steps. However, this only made Wang Teng even more furious. Die! He roared angrily. The next second, a golden light appeared behind him. This golden light quickly formed a golden giant, and this golden giant was very similar to Wang Teng himself. Clearly, this was Wang Teng's Dharma idol. Moreover, two golden lights were indeed emitted from the eyes of this golden giant. These two golden lights seemed to be able to penetrate heaven and earth. They shot directly towards Wang Long's direction. Seeing this scene, Wang Long also quickly wielded the heavenly halberd in his hand. However, the moment these two beams of golden light collided with the heavenly halberd in his hand, The heavenly halberd in Wang Long's hand was instantly sent flying by a terrifying force. And Wang Long at this moment even spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Chapter 458 The Difference in Strength. The Wang family head makes a move. His entire figure was like a cannonball, directly falling into the main hall. In an instant, the hall below collapsed from the impact. Wang Long was completely buried within it. At this moment, Wang Teng clearly had no intention of letting Wang Long go. A terrifying aura instantly erupted from his body. Then, the golden figure in the sky directly clawed towards the ruins where Wang Long was. Wang Long, in the ruins, felt this terrifying aura grabbing at him. A terrifying power instantly burst forth from his body. Then, his entire being transformed into a silver-white ray of light and appeared in the sky. He didn't even have time to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth. He was forced to begin defending against Wang Teng's attack. However, at this moment, Wang Long was clearly no match for an enraged Wang Teng. Thus, a golden fist directly sent his entire body flying out again. Then, his entire being crashed into the Wang family's main hall. Another main hall of the Wang family was instantly destroyed. The Wang family elder, witnessing this scene, also twitched his mouth. One main hall of the Wang family was not a big deal for the Wang family. But no matter how rich they were, they couldn't be so wasteful. However, at this moment, they ignored the Wang family's main hall. Instead, their gazes lingered on Wang Teng and Wang Long in the sky. At this moment, Wang Long once again met the golden fist from the sky. Terrifying power once again smashed towards Wang Long's direction. Wang Long could only helplessly wave his fist to block this golden fist. Then the golden fist directly struck his entire body into the mud below again. His entire being instantly sank into the mud. Of course, Wang Teng had no intention of stopping now. Instead, he continuously wielded his Dharma idol, attacking Wang Long. And Wang Long, due to the continuous attacks, was completely submerged in the mud. Die for me. Then, a terrifying rage instantly appeared in Wang Teng's eyes, and a powerful golden fist descended directly from the sky, as if to completely end Wang Long. Just as Wang Teng was about to use his final blow to finish off Wang Long, a powerful aura finally emanated from the Wang family head. Then, the Wang family head instantly appeared where Wang Long was. He gently pointed a finger at the golden fist in the sky. Then, a powerful force instantly annihilated this golden fist. At the same time, the Wang family head looked at Wang Teng in the sky with eyes full of anger. He hadn't expected that due to his neglect, his own son would be so severely injured. However, he quickly withdrew his gaze. Then, he used powerful magical energy to forcibly drag his son out of the ground. Looking at the dying Wang Long, the killing intent in the Wang family head's eyes could no longer be concealed and was directly unleashed. However, Wang Teng showed no fear at this moment. Instead, he looked at the Wang family head with a mocking expression. Out of respect for Wang Xingchen's demise, I originally didn't want to touch you, but today you have gone too far. Then, the Wang family head looked at Wang Teng in the sky and spoke slowly, the anger in his voice audible to anyone. Even the Wang family elder could only sigh helplessly at this moment, because they naturally knew that Wang Teng had gone too far this time. Then, the Wang family head looked at Wang Teng with a lingering gaze, clearly intending to give Wang Teng a chance to explain. After all, only then could the Wang family head make a move. As an old fox, he naturally understood Wang Teng's temper very well. And Wang Teng indeed did not disappoint the Wang family head. He looked at the Wang family head with a hint of arrogance in his eyes. Are you, old man, planning to bully the young? If I were your age, you wouldn't even last one move against me. At the same time, his arrogant voice spread throughout the entire Wang family, coupled with Wang Teng's proud expression at this moment. At this moment, he was like a true prodigy, and the Wang family head in front of him seemed like a mere supporting character. After hearing Wang Teng's words, the Wang family elder also sighed helplessly. They had originally wanted to help Wang Teng, but in the current situation, if they intervened, they would be an enemy of the Wang family head. One must know that Wang Teng had insulted the Wang family head. Just the fact that the Wang family head was a great saint-level expert meant that ordinary true king realm experts could not insult him. So what could they do by stepping out now? Everyone who thought of this turned their gazes towards the Wang family head. Even the Wang family's prodigy, at this moment, looked at Wang Teng in the sky with schadenfreude. Because at this moment, they knew that Wang Teng had completely angered the Wang family head. Perhaps the Wang family head wouldn't have attacked Wang Teng at first, but now, how could the Wang family head not attack Wang Teng? And the facts were exactly as the Wang family elder and prodigy had guessed. The Wang family head looked at Wang Teng with righteous indignation. Since that's the case, Then today, I shall show you what it means that a great saint cannot be insulted, lest you go out and get killed by others later." After speaking, he gently extended his right hand, and the next second, a terrifying pressure instantly enveloped the entire Wang family. At the same time, a white palm instantly appeared in the sky. The palm gently crushed the Dharma idol behind Wang Tong. At this moment, Wang Tong also endured this terrifying pressure, looking at the Wang family head with eyes full of arrogance. As a prodigy, how could he speak subserviently to the Wang family head? Moreover, Wang Tong felt that the great saint-level Grand Elder of the Wang family would help him. Therefore, at this moment, he only needed to withstand the Wang family head's pressure. However, what Wang Tong didn't know was that the Grand Elder of the Wang family all intended to let the Wang family head teach Wang Tong a lesson. In the eyes of these Grand Elder of the Wang family, although Wang Tong was an unparalleled prodigy, but his temper was too arrogant. A prodigy cannot be without his pride, but a true prodigy cannot possess such immense pride. One must know that a prodigy who has not risen is ultimately but a wisp of smoke in the long river of history. Although Wang Tong's talent was so formidable, if he truly provoked those top expert, then perhaps his title as a prodigy would mean nothing in front of these top expert. For example, Wang Tong should not insult a great saint-level expert in such a way. Otherwise, what awaited him would be the pressure and slaughter of this great saint-level expert. At that time, even the Wang family might not be able to save Wang Tong, but these Grand Elder of the Wang family were very clear that no matter how angry the Wang family head was, he could not kill Wang Tong. This was also why these Grand Elder of the Wang family did not intervene. Chapter 459: The Gap Between Realms. The Supreme Elder of the Wang family takes action. As this terrifying aura continuously enveloped Wang Tong. At this moment, Wang Tong finally sensed the approach of death. Moreover, a hint of panic finally appeared in Wang Tong's eyes, especially upon seeing the killing intent in the Wang family head's gaze. Wang Tong started to panic completely. At this time, he even began to suspect whether the Wang family Grand Elder had abandoned him. Therefore, he endured the terrifying pressure and continuously looked around. Wang Tong still wanted to find the whereabouts of the Wang family Grand Elder. But these Wang family Grand Elder had already reached the Great Saint Realm. So how could Wang Ting possibly find their traces? "Old dog, do you really dare to kill this young master?" While failing to find any trace of the Wang family Grand Elder, Wang Tong endured the pressure and provoked the Wang family head. Of course, his words were also meant to remind the Wang family head of his own identity, although he was indeed very arrogant. But no matter what, he was the Wang family's most outstanding prodigy, and even an expert who had a chance to reach the great emperor realm in this generation of the Wang family. Therefore, a hint of anticipation remained in Wang Tong's eyes. He hoped that the Wang family head would stop. However, the Wang family head coldly snorted after hearing Wang Tong's words. Following that, the aura emanating from him became even more terrifying. Then, with a single palm strike, he slammed Wang Tong entirely into the ground. Simultaneously, a terrifying force gathered once again in the sky, forming a fist. It then descended directly from the sky, heading straight toward Wang Tong. Naturally, the Wang family head controlled his strength at this moment, although this attack was extremely terrifying for Wang Tong. This single attack did not kill Wang Tong. Following this, the same events that had just happened to Wang Long began to continuously occur to Wang Tong. Terrifying attacks descended from the sky one after another. They slammed directly onto Wang Tong's body. In just a few breaths, the qi on Wang Tong's body had been severely weakened. At the same time, he completely collapsed onto the ground. His body was covered in copious amounts of blood. However, Wang Tong's eyes were filled with anger at this moment. If his cultivation had reached the great saint level now, he would definitely kill the Wang family head. Seeing this scene, a hint of anger also appeared in the Wang family head's eyes, and he knew in his heart that he could not allow Wang Tong to grow. Otherwise, if Wang Tong grew up in the future, the Wang family head himself might only meet his demise at Wang Tong's hands. Immediately after, a terrifying killing intent instantly burst forth from the Wang family head's eyes. However, he quickly withdrew this terrifying killing intent. If he were to openly kill Wang Tong and the Wang family now, the entire Wang family would probably completely break ties with him. Thinking of this, he suppressed the killing intent in his heart. However, he was still very willing to teach Wang Tong a lesson. Terrifying forces in the sky continued to smash down toward Wang Tong on the ground. In just a few breaths, Wang Tong's injuries became increasingly severe. At the same time, his qi also slowly began to weaken. Enough! Just as the next attack was about to hit Wang Tong, an aged voice slowly drifted over. Immediately after, a black light instantly appeared in front of Wang Tong. and this black light quickly transformed into the figure of an old man. The old man gently raised his hand and dissolved the attack, descending from the sky. Only then did he slowly cast his gaze toward the Wang family head. Is the family head planning to kill him? Following this, the old man directly questioned the Wang family head. Anger instantly erupted in his eyes. Isn't he still alive? Moreover, if any other prodigy dared to provoke me like this, they would probably be a corpse by now. The Wang family head showed no panic regarding the Grand Elder's words, instead speaking calmly while looking at the Wang family Grand Elder. After speaking, he slowly picked up Wang Long. He is the peerless prodigy of our Wang family. If something truly happened to him, could you bear the responsibility? The Wang family Grand Elder spoke with a gloomy expression while looking at the Wang family head. He was the Grand Elder of Wang Tung's lineage, so naturally, he was extremely angry upon seeing Wang Tung's injuries. If he hadn't cared about the other Grand Elder, the Grand Elder of Wang Tung's lineage would probably have already intervened and saved Wang Tung earlier. If all the prodigy of my Wang family were like Wang Tung, then the Wang family would rather not have these prodigy. They would ultimately only fall into the hands of those top experts. The Wang family head said with a look of disdain after hearing the words of the Wang family Grand Elder. If this Grand Elder had been able to intervene earlier, then he naturally wouldn't have seen Wang Tung reduced to this state. Realizing this, the Wang family head also understood the meaning of the other Grand Elder, which is why he spoke to the Wang family Grand Elder with such confidence at this moment. Furthermore, their lineage was not without the existence of a Grand Elder. In that case, if I hadn't appeared, was the family head planning to kill Wang Tung? After hearing the Wang family head's words, the Grand Elder spoke even more angrily to the Wang family head, while directly placing this accusation upon the Wang family head. If he provoked other great saint-level expert, Grand Elder, do you think you could save him? The Wang family head did not directly answer the Grand Elder's question, but instead spoke to the Wang family Grand Elder with a hint of challenge. At the same time, his words completely explained his previous actions. If other great saint-level expert had attacked Wang Tung like this, Wang Tung would probably have already perished by now. How could the Wang family Grand Elder have had the chance to rescue Wang Tung? The Wang family Grand Elder instantly understood after hearing the Wang family head's words. However, he was still somewhat angry at this moment. But he also understood that he could not win against the Wang family head. This time, it was Wang Tung's fault no matter what. Thus, he coldly snorted, transformed into a streak of light, and left the ruins with Wang Tung. Meanwhile, the Wang family head gazed slowly in the direction the old man departed. At this moment, terrifying Dao light radiated from his eyes. No one knew what the Wang family head was thinking in his heart at this moment. But what was certain was that the Wang family head's thoughts were definitely not simple. Subsequently, he ignored the gazes of the surrounding elder and disciple, and directly vanished from the spot with Wang Long. Following the departure of the two top experts, the upheaval of this great battle finally came to an end. Chapter 460 Chu Fan's return. Changes in the Eastern region. Although the commotion had ended, the excitement at the Wang family had not. The disciples of the Wang family were still anticipating what kind of punishment the Wang family would mete out to Wang Tung. Although Wang Tung was one of their Wang family's top prodigies, he had, after all, challenged the dignity of the entire family. If he wasn't punished, how would the Wang family Grand Elder command respect? Furthermore, if Wang Tung wasn't punished, how could the Wang family's prodigies possibly submit to him? A few days quickly passed. During these days, the Wang family's prodigies were all waiting for the Wang family head to speak. At the same time, the Wang family was very quiet during these days, as if Wang Tung challenging Wang Long had never happened. While this major event was unfolding at the Wang family, Chu Fan in the northern region was unaware of what was happening at the Wang family. After subjugating the entire northern region, he was now riding his mount towards the eastern region. The eastern region, having seen the northern region completely submit to the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty, was undergoing very noticeable changes. The entire territory of the eastern region had expanded dozens of times. At the same time, the spiritual qi, which could previously only support saint entry level, could now support the emergence of great saint-level experts. This meant that any top prodigy in the eastern region could now break through to the great saint level, provided their talent reached the absolute peak. It could be said that the eastern region was now no less powerful than the northern region. In fact, the eastern region might even be slightly stronger than the northern region. Moreover, this situation could continue to improve. As long as Chu Fan's Great Xia Imperial Dynasty continued to conquer territory, the eastern region might one day rival the central region. At this moment, Chu Fan also returned to the eastern region, riding a Qilin. I didn't expect such a significant change in the eastern region. It seems we need to conquer the other two major areas as quickly as possible. Upon returning to the eastern region, Chu Fan also noticed the changes. Naturally, Chu Fan knew why the eastern region had changed. Therefore, he was now eager to conquer the southern region and western region. After all, as long as they conquered the southern region and western region, their eastern region would become even more formidable. As Chu Fan returned to the eastern region riding the Qilin war chariot, all the cultivators in the eastern region turned their gaze towards Chu Fan's Qilin war chariot. After all, behind Chu Fan's Qilin war chariot were tens of thousands of Great Xia Imperial Dynasty troops. The chi of these troops had reached a terrifying level. Of course, the most important thing was that these cultivators knew these were the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty's troops. At the same time, the large character Chu carved on Chu Fan's Qilin war chariot was particularly eye-catching. Therefore, many people now understood that their emperor had returned. Thus, these cultivators all looked up, gazing at the golden light streaking across the sky. With excitement in their eyes, they prostrated themselves and worshipped towards the golden light. The emperor has returned. The emperor returned so quickly. It seems the entire northern region has completely become the territory of our Great Xia Imperial Dynasty. Isn't that obvious? If the northern region hadn't become the territory of our Great Xia Imperial Dynasty, how could the spiritual qi in our eastern region be so powerful? And how could our eastern region's territory have expanded to this extent? Yes, with the emperor's presence, our Great Xia Imperial Dynasty will definitely become the Great Xia Empire in the future. In the future, our Great Xia Imperial Dynasty will definitely be far more than just a Great Xia Empire. You should know that our Great Xia Imperial Dynasty can already become the Great Xia Empire now. Yes, the Great Xia Empire. All the cultivators in the eastern region looked at the golden light streaking across the sky with great reverence. At the same time, they were also eagerly anticipating the establishment of the Great Xia Empire. Of course, this was also because the Great Xia Empire in their minds far surpassed the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty. An imperial dynasty, no matter what, was still within the scope of an imperial dynasty. An empire, however, was a nation above an imperial dynasty. Therefore, the cultivators of the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty were so eager for the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty to be upgraded to the Great Xia Empire. Under the gaze of countless eyes, Chu Fan also drove the Qilin war chariot back to Chang'an City. Chang'an City, at this time, had naturally received news of Chu Fan's return. Therefore, the gates of Chang'an City were wide open. Many soldiers stood at the city gate. Standing directly in front of these soldiers was a handsome young man. However, the great saint realm qi emanating from the young man made the surrounding cultivators feel a chill. One could also see a full measure of confidence in the young man's eyes. This person was Hua Xiubing, the great saint-level expert summoned by Chu Fan. At this moment, Hua Xiubing's qi was released without any concealment. At the same time, there was a hint of anticipation in Hua Xiubing's eyes. Hua Xiubing, having arrived in this world, yearned to go on campaigns. However, during this period, he could only stay within the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty's imperial palace, guarding the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty. This made Hua Xiubing somewhat frustrated. But now that the emperor of the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty had returned, it meant that Hua Xiubing, could go on campaigns. Thinking of this, Hua Xiubing's eyes naturally showed anticipation. Standing in front of Hua Xiubing were Qing Yao and Luo Tianyi, both dressed in luxurious robes. The entire Great Xia Imperial Dynasty held great respect for its two imperial consorts. What's more, standing beside these two imperial consorts were the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty's prince and princess. And standing beside them, the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty's Prince Chu Wushuang and Princess Chu Yanran, at this moment, looked towards the horizon with eager little faces. They all want to see their peerless father. In their hearts, Chu Fan was a great hero. He was the most powerful great hero under heaven. And beside Chu Wushuang and Chu Yanran was the heavenly secret master of the Tianji Pavilion. During this time, he had naturally also noticed the changes in the Great Xia Imperial Dynasty in the eastern region, which made the heavenly secret master increasingly believe that Chu Fan was the one who could unify the entire world. At the same time, he also understood that Chu Fan would be the human emperor who would end the chaotic era and successfully forge an immortal dynasty once again. Just as everyone's gaze was directed towards the sky, a Qilin roar suddenly echoed from above. Then, a golden light suddenly streaked across the sky. This golden light was like a golden Dao, paving the entire sky. Subsequently, a Qilin pulling a war chariot slowly emerged from the clouds. The Qilin war chariot continuously moved along the golden Dao. Their speed was incredibly fast, so fast that the cultivators below didn't even have time to react before the Qilin war chariot landed directly at the gates of Chang'an City. As the Qilin war chariot slowly stopped at the gates of Chang'an City, Chu Fan, who was sitting inside the Qilin war chariot, also slowly stepped out from it. Chapter 461 Returning to the Palace. Next arrangements. At this moment, Chu Fan wore a suit of golden battle armor and a golden jade crown on his head. He looked exactly like a golden god of war descended from the heavens. However, the golden long spear he usually held was not present this time. This made Chu Fan look somewhat peaceful, but those who knew him understood that Chu Fan was not as calm as he appeared. More importantly, the chi emanating from Chu Fan completely subjugated everyone present. He seemed like a natural-born overlord. The domineering aura surrounding him caused the nearby soldiers to bow in submission. Your subordinate, Hua Xiubing, greets the emperor. Your subordinate, Meng Tian, greets the emperor. Hua Xiubing and Meng Tian quickly reacted, bowing swiftly toward Chu Fan, their joyful voices echoing throughout Chang'an City. Your subordinates greet the emperor. Greetings to the emperor. After their voices spread throughout Chang'an City, all the soldiers and cultivators present also bowed toward Chu Fan. Some cultivators even looked at Chu Fan with eyes full of admiration and fervor. Simultaneously, the army Chu Fan had brought back also knelt toward him. Their eyes were filled with piety and excitement. Rise, all of you. Seeing this scene, Chu Fan waved his hand to the crowd before him. Following that, he walked step by step toward Chu Wushuang. Beside Chu Wushuang, Chu Yanran and Chu Wushuang were both staring at Chu Fan with curiosity. Then, Chu Wushuang quickly broke free from Qingyao's grasp. He then ran directly toward Chu Fan. Chu Wushuang was already a formidable cultivator. Thus, in the blink of an eye, he arrived before Chu Fan. Imperial Father, your son greets Imperial Father. After arriving in front of Chu Fan, Chu Wushuang sincerely bowed, looking at his Imperial Father with admiration in his eyes. Daddy! As for Chu Yanran, she did not act like Chu Wushuang. She quickly ran into Chu Fan's arms, her large, watery eyes fixed intently on him. Ha ha, Wushuang and Yanran. Have you two been obedient during this time? Seeing the two little ones, Chu Fan's heart instantly blossomed with joy. He held Chu Yanran with one arm and led Chu Wushuang with the other, slowly walking toward Qingyao and the others. Although Chu Yanran was a princess of the Great Xia dynasty, she did not like calling Chu Fan Imperial Father like her older brother Chu Wushuang. Instead, she preferred calling him Daddy. This was naturally related to Chu Fan's doting affection for her. Although Chu Fan hoped his children could become peerless prodigies, he wished even more for them to grow up slowly under his guidance. Therefore, Chu Fan naturally did not restrain his excessive love for Chu Yanran in the slightest. Moreover, Chu Fan's grandfather, Chu Long, and Chu Fan's father, Chu Tianxiong, also especially doted on this little princess, making her the most esteemed person in the entire Great Xia dynasty. Although Chu Long and Chu Tianxiong also greatly favored Chu Wushuang as a prince who would eventually inherit the Great Xia dynasty, Chu Long and Chu Tianxiong naturally knew they needed to cultivate the little one's domineering nature. That is why Chu Wushuang now possessed this noble and esteemed aura. Husband, grandfather, and father and mother are waiting for you back in the palace. When Chu Fan arrived next to Qingyao, she slowly stepped forward and spoke gently to him. Qingyao was no longer the general who only wielded a long spear. She was now a true mother and Chu Fan's gentle wife. After hearing Qingyao's words, Chu Fan nodded leisurely toward Qingyao and Luo Tianyi. Following that, he led the crowd toward the palace. At the same time, he left all subsequent matters to Hua Xiubing and the others. Soon, Chu Fan led Chu Wushuang and Chu Yanran back into the imperial palace. Meanwhile, Chu Long, Chu Tianxiong, and the others were waiting for Chu Fan's arrival inside the palace. The main reason they did not go outside Chang'an City was that they did not want to disturb Chu Fan. But as soon as Chu Fan entered the palace, they became Chu Fan's warmest family. Zhao Fan, you brat, you really came back. But your speed is incredible. I thought it would take you several years to completely subdue the northern region. As soon as Chu Fan entered the palace, Chu Tianxiong walked toward him with a beaming smile. However, a hint of pride could be seen in Chu Tianxiong's eyes. Clearly, Chu Tianxiong was extremely proud of Chu Fan. After all, having a son with such capabilities naturally made him feel immensely proud. You weren't injured, were you? Your father is too much, not checking on your health immediately after you returned. Feng Shiran, meanwhile, approached Chu Fan with a look of concern. Chu Fan had grown up by his mother's side since childhood, so his mother was naturally very concerned about him. What she hoped to see was not Chu Fan becoming a great hero of the world. What she most wished to see was Chu Fan being safe and sound. Mother, don't worry. The person who can injure me in this world has yet to appear. Hearing his mother's words, Chu Fan felt a warmth in his heart. He then raised his head and spoke proudly. Daddy is the most powerful person in the world, so none of those enemies can hurt Daddy. Chu Yanran, nestled in Chu Fan's arms, echoed him proudly. In her mind, her daddy was an invincible existence. After hearing Chu Yinran's words, Chu Wushuang silently nodded, clearly agreeing in his heart. Upon hearing his daughter's praise, Chu Fan gently rubbed her head. "You're not leaving again this time, are you?" At this moment, Chu Long slowly walked out. He looked at his formerly most beloved grandson, who had grown up to become the master of the Great Xia dynasty. He felt a hint of emotion in his heart. "This time, I plan to personally guard the Great Wall. As for the southern region and the western region, I will leave them to He, Xubing, and the others. I believe they will resolve the southern region and the western region at the fastest speed possible." Chu Fan nodded after hearing Chu Long's words. Although he had not yet captured the southern region and the western region, taking down the southern region and the western region would not be difficult. Before returning from the northern region, he had already instructed Qin Jibao and the others to prepare and then directly attack the western region. In other words, Qin Jibao and his forces were currently organizing their army. As soon as all the restless forces in the northern region were completely suppressed, they could directly lead the army to the western region. At that time, the forces in the western region would be unable to resist Qin Jibao and the others. As for the southern region, Chu Fan intended to entrust it to He, Xubing, and Meng Tian. After all, the southern region's strength surpassed that of the western region, so these two great generals must take action. Chapter 462, The Shadow of the Heavenly Profound Holy Land. A plot against Chu Chun. The news of Chu Fan's return to Chang'an City quickly spread throughout the entire Great Xia dynasty. At the same time, the Great Xia dynasty learned that their emperor had completely conquered the northern region, causing the entire Great Xia dynasty to be filled with joy for the period that followed. Of course, the Heavenly Secret Master, who is currently in the Imperial Palace, was extremely shocked by Chu Fan's cultivation. The moment he made contact with Chu Fan, he knew that Chu Fan's cultivation had achieved a breakthrough to the mid-stage Great Sage. However, he never expected Chu Fan to be able to achieve a breakthrough to the mid-stage Great Sage so quickly. One must know that even the previous Xinyuan human emperor was over 50 years old when he achieved a breakthrough to the mid-stage Great Sage. Yet, the current Chu Fan had achieved a breakthrough to the mid-stage Great Sage in his 20s, instantly making the Heavenly Secret Master feel incredible astonishment. What was even more astonishing to the Heavenly Secret Master was that he sensed the aura of the peak Quasi-Emperor realm around Chu Fan. In other words, there was currently a peak Quasi-Emperor realm expert following Chu Fan. Thinking of this, the Heavenly Secret Master's eyes were filled with disbelief. At the same time, he was guessing which peak Quasi-Emperor realm expert was following Chu Fan. After all, he knew many strong experts at the peak Quasi-Emperor realm on the continent. However, after several days passed, he still did not know who this peak Quasi-Emperor realm expert was. This instantly made the Heavenly Secret Master feel increasingly astonished toward Chu Fan. Furthermore, he learned from the Heavenly Secrets that several more generals had appeared beside Chu Fan, and they were generals capable of sweeping across the world. This instantly made the Heavenly Secret Master completely submit to the Great Xia dynasty. Just as Chu Fan returned to the Great Xia dynasty, Chu Chun, the saint of the Tianxian Holy Land in the central region, had also completely achieved a breakthrough to the True King realm. Moreover, he had now achieved a breakthrough to the Middle True King realm. It could be said that he was a true top prodigy. It has been so many years since I left. I truly look forward to meeting Xiao Fan and the others. He looked wistfully toward the eastern region. Chu Chun had been waiting to reunite with his younger brother all this time. However, what surprised him was that Chu Fan had taken so long and still hadn't come to the central region. He knew that based on his conjecture, Chu Fan possessed the Innate Dao Body, and only by entering the central region could he truly grow. Therefore, Chu Fan should have appeared in the central region long ago. But he never expected that Chu Fan still hadn't appeared in the central region after so many years. This instantly made Chu Chun feel a bit surprised. However, he also guessed in his heart that Chu Fan must have been reluctant to leave their parents, which was why he hadn't come. Nevertheless, Chu Chun still held some anticipation for Chu Fan's eventual arrival in the central region. Just as Chu Chun was anticipating his younger brother's arrival in the central region, in a forbidden land within the Tianxian Holy Land, a youthful man looked at the middle-aged man before him with a look of intense desire in his eyes. "Father, are we really going to dig out his supreme bone?" Immediately afterward, he looked at the middle-aged man, his eyes burning with fervor and desire, and asked, "His growth speed over the years has been too fast. If he continues to grow like this, there will be no place for us in the entire Tianxian Holy Land. Therefore, he must die, and the supreme bone must naturally fall into your hands." When the middle-aged man heard the youth's words, his expression instantly darkened. He then gazed slowly, penetrating the main hall before him, as if he saw someone far away. but his master has already achieved a breakthrough to the great saint realm. Father, do we have the confidence to dig out his supreme bone? The youthful man was naturally excited upon hearing his father's words, but then his eyes dimmed as if he had remembered something. Then he slowly spoke to his father. Although the supreme bone held a strong summoning power for him, nevertheless, he had a great saint-level expert supporting him. Even if his master is a great saint-level expert, we can still dig out his supreme bone. After all, the Saint Sun Challenge tournament is half a month away, and you will all need to go to the secret realm. That will be your opportunity. A trace of solemnity appeared on the middle-aged man's face when he heard the youth's words, but clearly, he had been prepared for a long time. Thus, he slowly looked toward the top of the main hall and spoke. After speaking, a terrifying light also emanated from the middle-aged man's eyes. If that is truly the case, won't the Holy Lord and the Sword Immortal cause trouble for our lineage? When a youthful man heard the middle-aged man's words, a flash of light instantly appeared in his eyes, but he quickly recalled the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land and the Sword Immortal who had achieved a breakthrough to the great saint realm. Do you think the Holy Lord would offend our lineage for a prodigy who has lost his supreme bone? Furthermore, this time, besides digging out his supreme bone, we must not let him live. The middle-aged man waved his hand dismissively at this point. He saw through the ways of the world clearly. A prodigy who has lost his talent is completely useless in their eyes. Moreover, do you think a prodigy from a common background could possibly guard his supreme bone? When the time comes, we will transfer the supreme bone into your body, and you will possess both the supreme bone and the fire spirit body. Then, you will be the next saint of the Tianxian Holy Land. The middle-aged man spoke slowly again, a hint of disdain in his eyes after he finished speaking. Clearly, he looked down on this so-called prodigy who possessed the supreme bone. Father, whom do you plan to send to seize his supreme bone? When a youthful man heard the middle-aged man's words, his worries instantly vanished. He then looked at the middle-aged man expectantly and asked, when the time comes, I plan to have 2 Saint Kings make a move. One Saint King will distract the Saint King level guardian beside him, while the other Saint King will seize his supreme bone. We will then directly implant his supreme bone into your body, and you will become a true supreme prodigy. The middle-aged man said with a vicious and sinister expression after hearing the youth's words. Thank you, Father. Chu Chun, your death date is approaching. Please cherish the remaining half-month of your life. Joy instantly appeared on the youthful man's face when he heard the middle-aged man's words. He then slowly looked toward the palace before him. At the same time, his hoarse and malicious voice slowly emerged. The middle-aged man beside him nodded slowly upon hearing his voice. At the same time, the middle-aged man was extremely satisfied with the youthful man before him. The youthful man was Xuan Tian, the possessor of the fire spirit body of the Tianxian Holy Land, and also one of the reserve saints of the Tianxian Holy Land. Although the fire spirit body was powerful, his strength was inferior to Chu Chen's. Currently, he had only achieved a breakthrough to the King Completion realm, still slightly below Chu Chen's realm. Chapter 463 The Holy Sun Challenge begins, the challenge of the quasi-holy sun. As for Xian Tian's father, he was a grand elder of the Tianxian Holy Land, and Xian Tian's father's cultivation had also reached the late-stage great sage. He was considered a top-tier existence in the entire Tianxian Holy Land, though, of course, among the Grand Elders, there were also Grand Elders at the Great Sage Perfection Realm. As Xian Tian was the owner of the Fire Spirit Body, Xian Tian's father naturally hoped he could grow quickly. After all, when the Fire Spirit Body matured, its cultivation would at least reach the Saint King Realm, and with sufficient resources, reaching the Great Saint Realm would be very easy. Of course, if his luck was heaven-defying, he could even reach the Quasi-Emperor Realm. However, breaking through to the Great Emperor Realm was almost impossible. Chu Chen's appearance gave this Grand Elder of the Tianxian Holy Land hope, because he discovered that Chu Chen actually possessed a supreme bone. If he had another physique, he might not have a solution. But a supreme bone could be transplanted, which meant his son, Xian Tian, could possess a supreme bone. At that time, with the supreme bone combined with the fire spirit body, it would be extremely easy for Xian Tian to break through to the Great Emperor Realm in this era. Therefore, ever since he learned that Chu Chen possessed a supreme bone, this Grand Elder of the Tianxian Holy Land began to plot. However, for a while, he couldn't find a good opportunity. After all, for many years, Chu Chen had been undergoing breakthrough in the Tianxian Holy Land. Moreover, the Sacred Lord, a great saint-level expert, was watching over Chu Chen in the Tianxian Holy Land, so they naturally had no opportunity. But in half a month, Chu Chen would be participating in the Saint Sun Challenge Tournament. The Saint Sun Challenge Tournament was a challenge that the Saint of the Tianxian Holy Land had to experience. Of course, the Saint Sun Challenge Tournament didn't mean that the prodigies of the Tianxian Holy Land needed to challenge the Saint. Instead, the Saint needed to enter a secret realm of the Tianxian Holy Land, and of course, a group of prodigies from the Tianxian Holy Land would enter the secret realm with the Saint. The secret realm could only allow Saint King level experts to enter at most. This meant that in the secret realm, Saint King level experts were the strongest existences. As the Saint of the Tianxian Holy Land, Chu Chun naturally had a Saint King level expert by his side. However, this time, Xian Tian's father planned to bring 2 Saint King level experts. One Saint King level expert would distract the Saint King level guardian by Chu Chen's side. The other Saint King level expert would subdue Chu Chun and extract his supreme bone. It could be said that this Grand Elder of the Tianxian Holy Land's idea was perfect, so perfect that even the Sacred Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land wouldn't have thought of it. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. During this half a month, no major events occurred in the Tianxian Holy Land. However, during this half a month, the Tianxian Holy Land became thoroughly lively. After all, the Saint Sun Challenge Tournament was approaching in the blink of an eye, and the disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land were naturally looking forward to this Saint Sun Challenge Tournament. At the same time, the true disciples and quasi-saints of the Tianxian Holy Land also came out of seclusion. The true disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land were all existences who had breakthrough to the Dharma aspect realm. Only by breakthrough to the Dharma aspect realm could they be considered true disciples. As for the current quasi-saints of the Tianxian Holy Land, they were all existences in the King realm. Some quasi-saints even had their cultivation reach the true King realm. However, most quasi-saint cultivation was in the King realm. Even Xian Tian, who possessed the fire spirit body, was only at the King completion realm. With the arrival of the challenge tournament, more and more prodigies of the Tianxian Holy Land appeared in the Holy Land's plaza. The disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land were also looking at the prodigies appearing in the plaza with excitement in their eyes. At the same time, Xian Tian, the owner of the fire spirit body, also appeared here. He looked at Chu Chun with a hint of excitement and fervor in his eyes. As the saint of the Tianxian Holy Land and the protagonist of this Saint Sun Challenge Tournament, Chu Chun had already appeared in the plaza of the Tianxian Holy Land. As more prodigies continuously appeared in the plaza of the Tianxian Holy Land, those rarely seen true disciples and quasi-saints also appeared in the plaza. Many true disciples and quasi-saints looked at Chu Chun with battle intent in their eyes. Chu Chun, I hope to meet you in this Saint Sun Challenge Tournament. I want to see if your strength is as powerful as the legends say. A burly young man slowly stepped forward, looked at Chu Chun, and spoke. After speaking, the chi on his body was completely released. At the same time, it could be felt that the chi on his body had reached the true King initial stage. Huang Yuan, your strength is indeed good, but you're still a bit lacking to fight me. Chu Chun nodded leisurely as he felt the chi on the young man in front of him, but he also had his own pride. He spoke to the young man with a calm expression on his face. Whether or not I am your opponent will only be known after a battle. After hearing Chu Chen's words, Huang Yuan snorted coldly, and then he headed towards the plaza in front. The other quasi-saints, after hearing the conversation between Huang Yuan and Chu Chun, also looked at the two with amusement in their eyes. Chu Chun, let you be arrogant for a little longer. In the upcoming Saint Sun Challenge Tournament, I will let you know that background is the key to victory. Xian Tian looked at Chu Chun with a cold smile in his eyes. Then he slowly turned his head and waited for the Saint Sun Challenge Tournament to begin. As time passed little by little, more and more prodigies for the Saint Sun Challenge Tournament arrived. 5 quasi-saint level prodigies also appeared, while the others were clearly in secluded cultivation. Even for the Saint Sun Challenge Tournament, such an important challenge tournament, they chose not to participate. The remaining prodigies were all true disciples and intersect disciples. Among the true disciples, there were also those who had breakthrough to the King realm. Although intersect disciples were weaker than true disciples, many intersect disciples had already breakthrough to the Dharma aspect realm. There were not many in the spirit roaming realm. As more and more prodigies appeared in the plaza, the disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land also began to get excited. Then, an elder of the Tianxian Holy Land directly conjured a warship. Then he flew directly onto the warship. All prodigies participating in this Saint Sun Challenge Tournament, get on the warship. We will depart in half an incense stick's time. At the same time, the elder's voice also slowly emanated from the sky. Upon hearing the elder's words, the true disciples, intersect disciples, and others present all flew towards the warship. Soon, their figures appeared directly on the warship. After these intersect disciples and true disciples boarded the warship, the quasi-saints of the Tianxian Holy Land slowly boarded the warship. And the last to enter the warship was Chu Chun, the saint of the Tianxian Holy Land. Chapter 464, Entering the Secret Realm. The secret treasure in Xian Tian's hands. After all the prodigies participating in the Saint's Sun Challenge tournament had entered the battlefield, the elder of Tianxian Holy Land cupped his hands towards the Holy Lord of the Holy Land below. He then led a group of disciples and directly drove the worship away from Tianxian Holy Land. Although the Saint Sun Challenge tournament was held in a small world, this small world was not close to Tianxian Holy Land. This was also why Xian Tian's father dared to make a move. If it were within the Holy Land, how could he possibly make a move? The warship quickly streaked across the sky and disappeared above Tianxian Holy Land. The warship's flying speed even exceeded that of a great saint-level expert. So, in just half an hour, they reached their destination. Their destination was a somewhat dim location. At this moment, a massive stone tablet stood in this dim forest. Behind the stone tablet was a pitch-black passage. However, the passage was clearly not open at this time. Of course, within the pitch-black passage, there was also a terrifying aura. It seemed as if it wanted to devour the entire world. This was the location of the Saint's Sun Challenge tournament. As the warship slowly descended, the elder of Tianxian Holy Land also slowly walked out of the warship. As for the other disciples, they walked out of the warship with curious expressions. Subsequently, all the prodigies participating in this Saint's Sun Challenge tournament appeared in front of this stone tablet. Their eyes were filled with curiosity as they stared at the pitch-black passage in front of them. Although they did not know the specific details of this Saint's Sun Challenge tournament, they naturally knew that the passage in front of them should lead to the secret realm. The elder of Tianxian Holy Land did not waste any words. A white, jade-like Tianxian token instantly appeared in his hand. Then, he gently placed the Tianxian token into the stone tablet in front of him. As the Tianxian token entered the stone tablet, a strong light instantly emanated from the stone tablet. This strong light instantly created a passage in front of the stone tablet, and this passage instantly combined with the pitch-black passage behind it. Then, a huge passage appeared in front of them. After the elder of Tianxian Holy Land finished all this, he turned his head and bowed respectfully to Chu Chun, nodding. Is this the secret realm within the Saint's Sun Challenge tournament? Chu Chun looked at the passage in front of him, a hint of curiosity in his eyes. However, he quickly transformed into a ray of light and entered the secret realm. Xian Tian, who was behind him, also quickly transformed into a ray of light and disappeared from his original spot. His figure quickly entered the secret realm. The other disciples, seeing this scene, also rushed towards the entrance of the secret realm. Soon, all the disciples of Tianxian Holy Land entered the secret realm of this Saint's Sun Challenge tournament. On the other side, Chu Chun, who had entered the secret realm, arrived in a desert. At this moment, he looked at the endless desert in front of him with a hint of helplessness. He had not expected his first transmission to land him in a desert. He was naturally very clear about this Saint's Sun Challenge tournament and the secret realm within it, because his master had already told him the rules and the situations he would encounter inside. Chu Chun needed to obtain the Tianxian token in this Saint's Sun Challenge tournament. Only then could he be recognized by Tianxian Holy Land. And in this secret realm, besides this barren desert, there was also a vast ice mountain. These two places possessed the strongest dangers. This was also why Chu Chun had a hint of helplessness in his eyes when he appeared here, because he had to face not only this barren desert, but also the Yao beast beneath the barren desert. He just didn't know how far he was from the legacy point of the Tianxian token. The Tianxian token was in the palace within this secret realm. If Chu Chun did not obtain the Tianxian token this time, then he would have to accept the challenge from all the prodigies of the entire Holy Land. Of course, this was the simplest. However, Chu Chun's master hoped that he could obtain the Tianxian token. After all, if he had to accept the challenge from all the prodigies of the entire Holy Land, then even he would find it very difficult to complete. After all, most of the prodigies who had been famous for a long time in the Holy Land were in the True King realm, and some had even reached the late True King realm. Therefore, it would naturally not be that simple for him to achieve this goal. The simplest way was to obtain the Tianxian token in the secret realm. Of course, if other quasi-saint sons obtained the Tianxian token, they would also receive corresponding rewards. Of course, even so, they could not directly become a saint of Tianxian Holy Land. It just gave them a fair chance. This was also why the intersect disciples and true disciples of Tianxian Holy Land were so enthusiastic. After all, this was a chance to change their fate. So how could they possibly let it go? Chu Chun then started walking in the desert. He did not choose to fly directly. After all, if he used up all the spiritual qi in his body, he would face countless dangers. On the other side, Xian Tian naturally also appeared in the secret realm. However, at this moment, his position was very far from Chu Chen's. because at this moment, Xian actually appeared on the ice mountain in the secret realm. At this moment, he looked at the ice mountain beneath his feet, his face filled with anger. To actually transmit this young master here, but luckily, this young master was prepared. Then, he took out a disc from his storage ring, and the disc was constantly trembling at this moment. Then, the disc instantly pointed in one direction. Chu Chun, oh Chu Chun, blame your birth. Then, Xian looked at the direction the disc was pointing with a gleam in his eyes, and after saying this leisurely, Xian instantly disappeared from the ice mountain. Xian was not as worried about danger as Chu Chun. After all, he had 2 Saint King level experts by his side. Therefore, at this moment, he unleashed his spiritual chi without any hesitation and flew out. Then, Xian began to make his way. Relying on the disc, Xian also learned Chu Chen's location. So, at this moment, he was heading in Chu Chen's direction. On the other side, Chu Chun, at this moment, had not discovered Xian's situation. He had also encountered trouble. That was, he had met Huang Yuan, who had wanted to challenge him just before entering the secret realm. At this moment, Huang Yuan held a silver-long spear. His eyes filled with battle intent, he looked at Chu Chun in front of him. Clearly, at this moment, he had come to challenge Chu Chun. Huang Yuan, who had just entered the secret realm, also found himself in a desert. And in just a short while, he discovered Chu Chun not far opposite him. This was also why he challenged Chu Chun so quickly. Chapter 465 instantly kills Huang Yuan, encounters Xian at the end of the desert. Chu Chun looked at Huang Yuan in front of him with some helplessness. He hadn't expected this guy to insist on challenging him. At this moment, Huang Yuan naturally didn't notice the expression on Chu Chun's face. Instead, he held his long spear and charged directly towards Chu Chun. The terrifying power seemed to pierce through space and time. The surrounding yellow sand slowly began to fly because of his power. This instantly enveloped the entire sky in his terrifying attack. Under the cover of his attack, Chu Chun's face showed no expression. Instead, he slowly took a step forward, and instantly, a terrifying pressure emanated from Chu Chun's body. At the same time, a Qilin appeared behind him. This Qilin also took a step forward. The terrifying pressure instantly enveloped the entire world. Even Huang Yuan's movements slowed down for a moment. He stood directly in space. However, his long spear quickly cut through the surrounding space. He charged very quickly towards Chu Chun. Seeing this, Chu Chun showed no surprise. Instead, he slowly took another step forward. Immediately, an even more terrifying pressure instantly enveloped Huang Yuan. Feeling this terrifying pressure, Huang Yuan roared angrily towards Chu Chun. Then, a silver-white light instantly emanated from his body, and this silver-white light quickly dispelled the surrounding pressure. At the same time, he once again held his long spear and charged towards Chu Chun. Seeing this, Chu Chun had no intention of holding back. He slowly took another step forward. After taking the third step, the pressure from the Qilin behind him had already made it impossible for ordinary True King Realm experts to move. Even the silver-white light within Huang Yuan's body was completely repelled by this terrifying power. His entire aura instantly converged. At the same time, he was also sent flying by this terrifying power. His body drifted continuously in the sky. However, at this moment, Chu Chun clearly had no intention of letting Huang Yuan go. He continued to take a step into the sky. A surging and ancient aura instantly emanated from his body. The next second, the entire world seemed to submit to Chu Chun. The terrifying power directly crushed Huang Yuan in front of him. Then he instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Chu Chun opposite him with an incredulous look in his eyes. However, at this moment, he stubbornly supported his body with the magma in his hand. Clearly, he had no intention of stopping now. Of course, the most important thing was that Huang Yuan now knew that he could not be Chu Chun's opponent. I lost. Then, Huang Yuan looked at Chu Chun with lifeless eyes and said, and after speaking, his body collapsed directly. Chu Chun didn't even glance at him and walked straight forward. He acted as if he hadn't seen Huang Yuan in front of him. Just as Chu Chun defeated Huang Yuan, Xian, on the other side, was constantly approaching Chu Chun under the guidance of the disc in his hand. As he got closer and closer to Chu Chun, the disc in his hand emitted more and more terrifying rays of light. This light even seemed to want to break through his palm. Chu Chun this time, no matter what, you cannot escape. Then, Xian looked forward with excitement in his eyes and said, and after speaking, he impatiently summoned 2 Saint King level experts. These 2 Saint King level experts were sent to him by the Grand Elder of Tianxian Holy Land this time. What's more, the cultivation of these 2 Saint King level experts had already reached the Saint King consummation realm, and Chu Chun's Guardian's cultivation was only at late Saint King. Therefore, this time, Chu Chun had no chance of survival at all. 2 days passed quickly. During these 2 days, Chu Chun had been searching for the palace where the Tianxian token was stored. But 2 days were not enough for him to find the Tianxian token. Moreover, in these 2 days, he had only barely reached the end of the desert. At this moment, the end of the desert was a majestic-looking forest. And in this forest, strange auras constantly permeated. These strange auras, even Saint King-level experts, dared not easily ignore them. At the same time, these strange auras could also conceal their own auras. So now, Chu Chun looked at the strange forest in front of him, and a hint of solemnity emanated from his eyes. Although the forest in front of him did not pose an immediate danger. But at this moment, Chu Chun felt a hint of worry in his heart, because he had been feeling uneasy. It was as if something bad was about to happen. But no matter how he thought about it, he didn't know what would happen to him next. Saint Chu is really hard to find. It took this young master so long to find him. Just as Chu Chun was about to step out of the desert, a playful voice slowly came from afar. Then, Xiantian appeared slowly in front of Chu Chun, holding a disc. At this moment, Xuantian's eyes were filled with a hint of fervor and excitement. Chu Chun looked at Xiantian in front of him and frowned. He hadn't expected this guy to dare to come looking for him again. One should know that when he first entered the Holy Land, Chu Chun had suffered a lot of suppression from this guy, until Chu Chun broke through to the King realm before he managed to turn the tables. After that, Xiantian would hide whenever he saw Chu Chun. Chu Chun hadn't expected this guy to dare to appear in front of him now. Are you not afraid that this young master will kill you here? Chu Chun naturally stood out without any fear and spoke to Xiantian in front of him. After speaking, his gaze slowly turned towards Xiantian. The unease in his heart seemed to come from Xiantian in front of him. This made Chu Chun feel a strange sensation. He also didn't know why he felt that Xiantian in front of him could pose a threat to him. Chu Chun, after today, you will no longer be the saint of my Tianxian Holy Land, and everything about you will be mine, including the supreme bone you possess. After hearing Chu Chen's words, Xuantian's face instantly revealed a crazed smile, and then he quickly walked towards Chu Chun. The fervent gaze in his eyes directly stared at the supreme bone in Chu Chen's chest. At this moment, Chu Chen's supreme bone seemed to belong to him. Chu Chen instantly understood after hearing Xuantian's words, and, at the same time, his face also darkened. If it was really like this, then the unease in his heart was probably coming from Xiantian in front of him. Chapter 466, Chu Chen's Last Struggle, No Way Out. At the same time, Chu Chen naturally understood that Xiantian in front of him must be after his supreme bone. After all, Xiantian had now directly revealed his true colors and even explicitly mentioned the supreme bone. This meant that Xiantian had come this time solely for the supreme bone inside his body. However, Chu Chun was not afraid of Xiantian right now, as the strongest cultivator in this secret realm was only a Saint King realm expert. Furthermore, he had a Saint King level guardian backing him. Thinking of this, the look of worry on his face slowly faded away. Then, with a hint of confusion in his eyes, he looked at Xiantian and asked, "You think you can seize my supreme bone with just your current strength? Aren't you overestimating yourself?" His words echoed across the land like muffled thunder, and the confusion in Chu Chen's eyes simultaneously turned into seriousness. Clearly, he did not take Xiantian in front of him too seriously at this moment. Upon hearing his words, Xiantian burst into laughter. Instead of explaining anything to Chu Chun, he casually waved his hand toward the void realm behind him. Immediately after, a middle-aged man slowly walked out of the void realm. The middle-aged man was emanating the chi of the Saint King consummation realm. It was as if the entire world could not withstand the chi emanating from the middle-aged man. At this moment, the middle-aged man's gaze slowly fixed upon the section of the void realm behind Chu Chun. And as the middle-aged man's gaze fell upon that section of the void realm, another middle-aged man slowly walked out of that void realm. However, the chi emanating from this middle-aged man was slightly weaker than the chi of the middle-aged man standing before Xiantian. A Saint King consummation realm expert. I didn't expect you to hire a Saint King consummation realm expert just to deal with me this time. Seeing this scene, the light in Chu Chen's eyes was instantly covered by a cold glint. Although he felt some worry in his heart at this moment, his anxiety was not overwhelming, because the guardian behind him could stall for some time, allowing him to immediately flee towards the outside of the secret realm. As long as he escaped the secret realm, Xiantian would have no way to harm him. It could even be said that Xiantian might be held accountable by the Holy Land for this matter. Even if Xiantian was backed by Grand Elder, he would not be able to completely avoid this responsibility. The thoughts in the guardian's mind at this moment were similar to those in Chu Chen's mind. He then glanced at Chu Chun, and with firm determination, he charged towards the Saint King consummation realm expert in front of him, filled with battle intent. His terrifying fist wind directly tore through the surrounding space. The Saint King Consummation Realm expert beside, Xian Tian, calmly met this sight by clashing fists with Chu Chen's guardian. Two terrifying forces instantly collided in front of them. Seeing this scene, Chu Chan was naturally unsurprised and immediately activated his movement technique, heading towards the outside of the secret realm. Although he might not obtain the Tianxian token this time, compared to that, his life was more important. However, just as Chu Chan began to flee, a smile suddenly appeared at the corner of Xian Tian's mouth behind him. He looked extremely sinister, and right at this moment, an even more terrifying qi instantly descended. The owner of this qi had already reached the Saint King Consummation Realm. Furthermore, a black shadow flashed, and a middle-aged man completely blocked Chu Chen's path. At the same time, the Saint King Consummation Realm qi emanating from this middle-aged man also drew the attention of everyone present. Even Chu Chen's guardian looked at him with disbelief in his eyes. At this moment, even if he wanted to protect Chu Chen, he had no chance, because the Saint King Consummation Realm expert in front of him would not allow him to leave. Meanwhile, Xian Tian looked at Chu Chen with greed in his eyes. Chu Chen, oh Chu Chen, in the face of a powerful background, what good is your talent, no matter how great it is? Then, Xian Tian slowly walked up to Chu Chen and spoke, a playful smile still lingering on his face after he finished. No matter what, Xian Tian was the son of a Grand Elder of the Tianxian Holy Land, so Saint King level experts could appear by his side at will. Furthermore, he had brought two Saint King Consummation Realm experts with him for this single appearance. Even if Chu Chen was highly talented and became the saint of the Tianxian Holy Land, it was impossible for so many Saint King level experts to appear to protect him. Thinking of this, Xian Tian felt extremely arrogant. I never thought you would invite two Saint King Consummation Realm experts just for my supreme bone. How ridiculous! Chu Chen had now completely given up the idea of escaping, and he looked at Xian Tian in front of him with anger in his eyes. He hadn't expected Xian Tian, just for the supreme bone inside his body, to choose to summon two Saint King Consummation Realm experts. One must know that a single Saint King Consummation Realm expert had already forced him to flee this place. But now, there was yet another Saint King Consummation Realm expert. If that was the case, didn't it mean he didn't even have a chance to escape? Chu Chen, you only have two choices now. The first is for you to personally hand the Supreme Bone over to this young master. If you do that, this young master might let you live. The second choice is for this young master to personally extract the Supreme Bone from your chest, but in that case, you will surely die. I will dig out your Supreme Bone and then drain every drop of your Supreme Blood. Then I'll see how you dare to be arrogant, acting like a stray dog on the roadside, yet daring to be arrogant in front of this young master. Xian Tian spoke, looking at Chu Chen with angry eyes, and after speaking, the greed and fervor in his gaze could no longer be concealed as he stared directly at Chu Chen. Ha! Do you think that with this, you are guaranteed to obtain the Supreme Bone? After hearing Xian Tian's words, a strange smile instantly appeared on Chu Chen's face. Immediately after, a look of determination flashed in his eyes. Seeing the scene, Xian Tian instantly realized that something was wrong. Therefore, he quickly instructed the Saint King level expert standing in front of Chu Chen. Quickly capture him. This young master must dig out his Supreme Bone. As Xian Tian's voice fell, the Saint King Consummation Realm expert immediately rushed toward Chu Chen. However, the Supreme Bone in Chu Chen's chest began to emit streaks of white light at this moment. This white radiance began to permeate Chu Chen's chest. Then, a silver white bone appeared in his chest. This bone continuously emitted terrifying rays of light. Chapter 467 Self-Destruction of the Supreme Bone. Celestial phenomena calculated by Tianjizi. When Xian Tian saw the Supreme Bone operating within Chu Chen, his eyes were filled with greed. But at this moment, due to the Supreme Bone inside Chu Chen's body, he found it difficult to move a single step. Meanwhile, Chu Chen disregarded everything and channeled all his power into the Supreme Bone. Then, the silver-white Supreme Bone in his chest slowly began to decompose. This Supreme Bone even exploded directly, transforming into specks of starlight that fell into Chu Chen's body. Immediately, Chu Chen's hair turned white in an instant. More importantly, a temporal qi emanated from him. He seemed to have aged 100 years in an instant. However, at this moment, one could also sense the terrifying qi radiating from Chu Chen. Most importantly, a temporal passage appeared behind him. As for where this temporal passage led, even Chu Chen himself did not know. He quickly pulled his guardian over. Then, the two of them fell directly into the temporal passage, until the temporal passage completely vanished. Xian Tian and the other two only reacted at this moment. At the same time, the temporal power on their bodies also completely disappeared. It was as if nothing had just happened. I didn't expect Chu Chan to have such a move. Find him. We must find him. Xintian also reacted at this moment. Then he spoke to the two strong experts at the Saint King Consummation realm beside him. As his words fell, the incredulity in the eyes of these two strong experts at the Saint King Consummation realm slowly receded. Then they began to search for traces of Chu Chan. These two strong experts at the Saint King Consummation realm were very clear in their hearts that if they did not find Chu Chan today, then what awaited them would probably be the Holy Land's judgment. On the other side, Chu Chan and his guardian appeared in a large mountain. Because Chu Chan had just shattered the Supreme Bone to open the temporal passage, he now had no chi whatsoever. He seemed as if he had truly died. At this moment, his guardian's chi also began to become very low due to the temporal passage. His Saint King realm cultivation was completely eroded by this temporal passage, reducing his cultivation to the King realm. At this moment, he couldn't even compare to an ordinary prodigy. However, at this moment, his eyes were filled with reverence for Chu Chan. Young master, no matter what, I will bring you back to the Holy Land. Then, with a determined expression, he took out a piece of ice from his storage ring, and then directly carved a human-sized groove in the ice. After doing all this, he then gently placed Chu Chen's body into this groove. Then, he left this place with Chu Chen's body. Just as Chu Chan was in crisis, at this moment, Chu Fan in the Eastern Domain also felt his heart skip a beat. It was as if some terrifying crisis was approaching. He frowned as he looked up at the sky. What's going on? Who can threaten me now? Then, Chu Fan slowly raised his head and looked at the sky, speaking with a hint of doubt in his eyes. At this point, his eyes still held a trace of confusion. The Great Xia Dynasty now had Quasi-Emperor level experts, and even strong experts at the perfected Quasi-Emperor realm. Besides Great Emperor level experts, who else could threaten him? What's more, he also had a limited time summon card. Even Great Emperor level experts might not be able to threaten him. So, Chu Fan muttered to himself with a hint of doubt at this moment. Emperor, I observed the celestial phenomena and found that someone close to the Emperor is currently in a life-threatening state. At this moment, Heavenly Secret Master suddenly came before Chu Fan and spoke to him seriously, while Heavenly Secret Master's face also showed a hint of solemnity. When he first deduced this point, Heavenly Secret Master already had a target for his speculation, because during this period, Heavenly Secret Master also learned about the Chu family members. Now, the only one not in the Great Xia Dynasty was the Chu family's former eldest young master, Chu Chen. It was likely that the one in a life-threatening situation was the Chu family's former eldest young master. Thinking of this, he quickly came to Chu Fan's side and reported this matter. You mean my eldest brother Chu Chen is in trouble? Upon hearing Heavenly Secret Master's words, Chu Fan immediately understood. He looked at Heavenly Secret Master with a hint of uncertainty and asked, Indeed, it should be him who is in trouble. Heavenly Secret Master could only nod helplessly after hearing Chu Fan's words. And Chu Fan, after hearing Heavenly Secret Master's words, was filled with anger. At this moment, he was like a waking lion, the anger in his eyes no longer concealable. Thank you for the reminder, Senior. Then, Chu Chan slowly spoke to Heavenly Secret Master in front of him. After speaking, he transformed into a stream of light and disappeared. He instantly walked towards the depths of the Great Xia Dynasty's Imperial Palace. And Heavenly Secret Master, after seeing Chu Fan's terrifying chi, also showed a hint of helplessness on his face. However, at this moment, he quickly wiped away the helplessness from his face. Heavenly Secret Master naturally saw the boundless rage emanating from Chu Fan at this moment. He had even seen Chu Fan's fury this time in the celestial phenomena. This meant that in Chu Fan's rage this time, probably tens of thousands of people would perish. Thinking of this, Heavenly Secret Master could only sigh helplessly. However, at this moment, he could only sigh helplessly. As the human emperor, Chu Fan still had a long path to walk. Heavenly Secret Master could only watch him grow into the human emperor. As for other matters, their Tianji pavilion could not interfere. On the other side, Chu Chan appeared directly in the Time Pagoda. He had just left Heavenly Secret Master primarily to prevent Heavenly Secret Master from knowing about the existence of the Time Pagoda. Upon arriving at the Time Pagoda, Chu Chen also directly met Wang Chongyang within the Time Pagoda. Because Wang Chongyang had been cultivating inside the Time Pagoda, his cultivation was not low now. Go investigate what has happened in Tianxian Holy Land during this period, and most importantly, investigate news about Tianxian Holy Land's Saint Chu Chan. Chu Fan also directly gave his command to Wang Chongyang. After speaking, he directly left the Time Pagoda. He intended to leave all matters within the Time Pagoda for Wang Chongyang to handle. At the same time, he also planned to have Wang Chongyang first find out what had happened in Tianxian Holy Land during this period. Chu Chan was the saint of Tianxian Holy Land. If he were in trouble, Tianxian Holy Land would certainly be very clear about it. After receiving Chu Fan's command, Wang Chongyang also directly awakened from his seclusion and then began to set the underworld in motion. During this time, the underworld was considered a top-tier force throughout the central domain, so the underworld's intelligence was naturally very fast. Chapter 468 Informing Chu Tianxiong of the Truth, heading to the central region. Meanwhile, Chu Fan, after issuing his orders, returned directly to the Imperial Palace. Although he had already set the underworld in motion, the underworld was also searching for news about Chu Chun and Tianxian Holy Land. But as his younger brother, he naturally had to go to the central domain to check on his elder brother. He even had to go to the central domain to support his elder brother. Therefore, his primary reason for coming to the Imperial Palace was to bid farewell to his family. Because this time, he didn't know when he would return from the central domain. At this moment, the Imperial Palace was filled with peace and harmony. Chu Long and the others were playing boisterously in the Imperial Palace with Chu Wushuang, the two little ones. Due to his increased lifespan, Chu Long now looked like a middle-aged man. His affection for the two little ones was no less than his affection for Chu Fan in the past. His greatest wish now was probably to spend every day with the two little ones. Chu Fan's arrival naturally caught their attention, but Chu Fan appeared there every day, so they weren't too surprised by his arrival. Of course, the observant Feng Shiran naturally noticed the anger on her son's face. No matter how much Chu Fan tried to hide it, she still saw it. Even Qingyao and Luo Tianyi noticed the anger on Chu Fan's face, but as imperial consorts of the Great Xia dynasty, they naturally didn't inquire at this moment. They only began to worry about Chu Fan in their hearts. "Father, I have something to discuss with you." Chu Fan slowly approached Chu Tianxiong at this moment and spoke to him softly. This time, he only wanted to tell this news to his father. As for the others, he didn't plan to tell them. After all, his father might barely be able to accept it, and even his father might not be able to accept it. How much less could others? Moreover, the more important thing was that letting Chu Tianxiong know a little news now would be beneficial to the others if something bad really happened in the future. "Brat, don't bother me. Can't you see I'm teaching Wushuang to cultivate?" Chu Tianxiong didn't notice anything amiss with Chu Fan at this moment. Instead, he spoke to Chu Fan somewhat impatiently. It wasn't until his mother pinched him that he reacted. Then he glanced at Chu Fan before following him out of the courtyard. As he arrived in the courtyard, he kept looking back at his grandson and granddaughter. "Speak. What can't you say in front of your mother and the others?" Then, Chu Tianxiong waved his hand impatiently at Chu Fan and said, instead of wasting time here, he would rather spend time with his grandson and granddaughter. "Father, I need to go to the central domain for a while. The Imperial Palace will be entrusted to you during this time. If any bad news comes, you must take good care of mother and grandfather." After hearing his father's words, a gentle smile appeared on Chu Fan's face. But soon he looked at his father with a helpless gaze and said slowly. After speaking, the anger on Chu Fan's face also began to become difficult to suppress. "You just came back and you're leaving again? Didn't you say you wanted to stay in the Great Xia dynasty for a longer period?" Upon hearing Chu Fan's words, Chu Tianxiong immediately sensed that something was wrong. So he looked at Chu Fan and asked. When he saw such anger on Chu Fan's face, he also had an ominous premonition in his heart at this moment. "Father, elder brother has met with trouble in the central domain. According to Heavenly Secret Master's calculations, elder brother's life should be hanging by a thread right now. I don't know if I can save him, so I decided to tell father in advance. If any bad news truly comes, then father must stabilize mother's and grandfather's emotions." Chu Fan also directly stated Heavenly Secret Master's calculations at this moment. Judging by the current situation, Chu Chen's condition should not be very optimistic. Even if Chu Fan went, he might not be able to save Chu Chun. So Chu Fan could only tell Chu Tianxiong about this matter in advance. Otherwise, if he brought back Chu Chen's body, the entire Chu family might collapse. "You mean, your elder brother might have fallen?" Upon hearing Chu Fan's words, Chu Tianxiong was instantly stunned. Then, he looked at Chu Fan with tears in his eyes and asked. However, at this moment, his face was filled with anger and stubbornness. Clearly, as a father, he didn't want to show his emotions in front of Chu Fan. "Probably not, but if that really happens, then I will definitely avenge elder brother." Chu Fan also shook his head after hearing Chu Tianxiong's words. In his heart, Chu Chun was the child of destiny of this world. Therefore, it should be impossible for Chu Chun to fall so quickly. If Chu Chun really fell so quickly, then even if he annihilated the entire central domain, he would avenge Chu Chun. If he truly falls, then you go and bring back his remains this time. As for revenge, wait until the Great Xia dynasty truly grows before seeking it. Your father cannot lose you too. After hearing Chu Fan's words, Chu Tianxiong also had a rough guess in his heart. Looking at the angry Chu Fan in front of him, Chu Tianxiong suppressed the sadness in his heart and patted Chu Fan's shoulder. His eldest son might have already fallen, so he naturally didn't want to see his younger son fall while avenging his eldest son. Chu Tianxiong was clearly aware of how powerful those top-tier experts in the central domain were. Of course, all of this was learned from Heavenly Secret Master. Although the great Xia dynasty's strength was not weak, it was still too weak compared to the true central domain. Therefore, he didn't want his younger son to fall in the central domain because of revenge. Father, rest assured, I will definitely bring elder brother back alive. Chu Fan also nodded seriously after hearing Chu Tianxiong's words. Then he waved to Chu Tianxiong, saying with a serious expression. After doing all this, he looked thoughtfully at the excited crowd playing in the courtyard. Then, he nodded resolutely at Chu Tianxiong and left the place. Subsequently, Chu Fan went directly to his mount, driving the Qilin war chariot, and left the imperial palace of the great Xia dynasty with Fei Peng. And as Chu Tianxiong watched Chu Fan's departing back, a tear involuntarily welled up in his eyes. However, he quickly composed himself and then slowly walked towards the courtyard. At this moment, he could not let his sorrow show. As Chu Tianxiong returned, Feng Shiran also slowly stepped forward at this moment, her eyes still carrying a hint of worry. As a mother, how could she not see the expression on Chu Fan's face? Moreover, her mood had been very uneasy these past few days, so Feng Shiran was very curious and worried about Chu Fan's arrival this time. Chapter 469, Feng Shiran's Worries, Xian Tian's Distortion of Truth. Feng Shiran looked at Chu Tianxiong in front of her, a hint of worry appearing in her eyes. Then, she slowly approached Chu Tianxiong and asked him. Her voice carried a touch of concern. Clearly, Feng Shiran already had a guess in her heart. Of course, she suspected that Chu Fan might be in danger. What did Xiao Fan just talk to you about? After her words fell, Chu Tianxiong naturally reacted, and, at the same time, he didn't want his wife to worry. So, a carefree expression instantly appeared on his face. Then he waved his hand at Feng Shiran, looking as if he didn't care at all. He said there's something he needs to deal with in the western regions, so he'll be in the western regions for a while and not in Chang'an City. Then Chu Tianxiong just casually made up an excuse. After all, the Great Xia dynasty was currently launching attacks on the western and southern regions. Therefore, even if Chu Fan went to the western regions, Feng Shiran wouldn't be able to truly investigate his whereabouts. What's more, as the emperor of the Great Xia dynasty, it was perfectly normal for him to make a trip to the western regions. After Feng Shiran saw Chu Tianxiong's appearance, the solemnity on her face intensified. If Chu Tianxiong had shown a hint of hesitation, then perhaps she would have believed his words. As a couple for so many years, she naturally knew what Tianxiong looked like when he lied. It was precisely because of this that the unease in her heart grew stronger. Xiao Fan isn't going to the western regions, is he? Otherwise, why would he tell you? Not giving up, Feng Shiran continued to question Chu Tianxiong beside her. As she spoke, her gaze remained fixed on Chu Tianxiong, as if trying to discern something from his eyes. At this moment, Chu Tianxiong waved his hand helplessly. Although he didn't want his wife to be sad, he couldn't reveal the current situation. It was enough for him to bear this sorrow alone. After seeing that Chu Tianxiong didn't answer her, Feng Shiran could only helplessly bypass Chu Tianxiong, looking at Chang'an City with worry in her eyes. Just as Chu Fan from the eastern regions had just arrived in the central regions, the Tianxian Holy Land in the central regions was also very lively at this time. Half a month had passed, and the Saint Sun Challenge tournament was over. However, what happened during the Saint Sun Challenge tournament made the entire Tianxian Holy Land feel incredible. In the main hall of the Tianxian Holy Land, Xian Tian stood with a look of grief and indignation on his face. Also standing in the main hall was the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land, and besides him, there was also Qing Feng Sword Saint of the Tianxian Holy Land, who perhaps could now be called Clear Wind Sword Immortal. He was Chu Chen's master. Of course, besides them, there were also many elders and grand elders of the Tianxian Holy Land. Their eyes were all fixed on Xian Tian with solemnity. And this time, besides Xian Tian, a few true disciples and quasi-saint sons of the Tianxian Holy Land had survived. Xian Tian, repeat what happened in the secret realm. At this moment, Xian Tian's father, who was the grand elder of the Tianxian Holy Land, slowly stepped forward and spoke to Xian Tian with an arrogant expression. After speaking, a strange smile appeared on his lips. Yes, as soon as we entered the secret realm, Chu Chun used his terrifying cultivation to suppress all of us, and he also killed all the true disciples of our Tianxian Holy Land. At the same time, 2 of the quasi-saint sons of the Tianxian Holy Land were also killed by him. I wanted to stop him, but my strength was not his match. Xian Tian slowly recounted what had happened in the secret realm, Of course, all of this was something he had fabricated. At the same time, Xiantian also stated that Chu Chen's Supreme Bone had been destroyed. If Chu Chan still possessed the Supreme Bone at this time, then these elders and grand elders of the Tianxian Holy Land might still choose to let Chu Chan return to investigate thoroughly. But how could he, having lost his Supreme Bone, still receive everyone's concern? In their eyes, Chu Chan was now like a cripple. After Clear Wind Sword Immortal heard Xiantian's words, a look of anger instantly appeared on his face. Impossible, my disciple cannot be that kind of person. Xiantian, you must think carefully before you speak. Then he stood up in a rage and spoke to Xiantian, and after speaking, the aura belonging to the great saint realm directly burst forth from him. Clear Wind Sword Immortal believed deeply in Chu Chen's character. He felt that Chu Chen was not that kind of person. At the same time, that terrifying aura instantly surged out like a tide. This caused Xiantian's entire body to tremble continuously, and he looked at Clear Wind Sword Immortal with a gloomy expression. Does Clear Wind Sword Immortal think that his strength can overwhelm us? To disregard us so much, do you really think that breaking through to the great saint realm is so amazing? However, just as Xiantian's body was about to give out, Xiantian's father, who was the Grand Elder of the Tianxian Holy Land, also slowly walked out and spoke to Clear Wind Sword Immortal. After speaking, an aura of the late-stage Great Sage emanated from him, completely resolving the aura emanating from Clear Wind Sword Immortal. My disciple cannot be that kind of person. Moreover, if he truly wanted to kill the true disciples and quasi-saint sons of the Holy Land, then how could he have destroyed his own Supreme Bone? And how could Xiantian have two perfected Saint King Realm existences protecting him? Clear Wind Sword Immortal looked at the Grand Elder of the Tianxian Holy Land with anger. Although he didn't know what happened between Chu Chen and Xiantian in the Secret Realm, but he naturally knew the news that Xiantian had two perfected Saint King Realm experts protecting him. After all, even if this Grand Elder of the Tianxian Holy Land wanted to hide it from everyone present, he couldn't. And as Clear Wind Sword Immortal's words fell, all the elders and Grand Elders present also turned their gaze towards the Grand Elder who had just spoken. At this moment, a thought suddenly appeared in their minds. That is, Xiantian's intention for entering the Secret Realm this time was probably not so pure. However, Chu Chen's Supreme Bone had already been destroyed. He was no longer the saint of the Tianxian Holy Land, and no longer that peerless prodigy of the Tianxian Holy Land. So, the elders and grand elders of the Tianxian Holy Land did not speak up to defend Chu Chen. This was exactly the result Xiantian and his father wanted. Although they didn't get the Supreme Bone, this time they thoroughly destroyed Chu Chen, this peerless prodigy. Even the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land could only sigh helplessly at this moment. Although things might not be as simple as Xiantian said, it seems she had no other choice now. Chapter 470, The Heavenly Profound Holy Land's Decision, issuing a kill order. Moreover, as the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land, he naturally understood that making an enemy of all the grand elders of the Holy Land and the strong cultivators of a lineage for the sake of a former prodigy whose talent had been crippled was not a good choice. Therefore, the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land did not speak up to defend Chu Chen at this moment. Elder Clear Wind, slandering my Xian family like this, do you truly believe you are invincible after breaking through to the great saint realm? Xiantian's father slowly stepped forward at this moment, looking at Clear Wind Sword Immortal and speaking, his eyes filled with a strong sense of threat after he finished. At this moment, he seemed to have Clear Wind Sword Immortal completely under his control. I implore the Holy Lord to issue an order to pursue Chu Chen. After all, he is a sinner of our Tianxian Holy Land. At this moment, Xiantian also cooperated fully, slowly stepping forward and kneeling before the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land, speaking with a righteous demeanor. He looked like a true victim at this moment. The elders present all curl their lips at Xiantian's performance. However, at this moment, it was naturally impossible for them to step forward and offend Xiantian's father. So they silently turned their gaze towards the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land. What do the Grand Elders think? The Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land had a headache after hearing Xiantian's words. Then he slowly looked at the Grand Elders of the Tianxian Holy Land present, clearly giving the choice to the Grand Elders of the Tianxian Holy Land at this moment. Since the truth of the matter has already come out, then let's issue a warrant for Chu Chen. A Grand Elder slowly stepped forward and spoke at this moment, but after he finished, a smile appeared on his face. Although this Grand Elder was not a Grand Elder of the Xiantian lineage, this Grand Elder had a disciple whose cultivation and talent were not weak. If not for Chu Chen, his disciple might have become the saint of the Tianxian Holy Land. So at this moment, he naturally agreed with the Xiantian lineage's approach. The others frowned after hearing the Grand Elder's words. Holy Lord, I, this old man, think we should thoroughly investigate this matter. If we don't investigate it thoroughly and directly issue a warrant for Chu Fan, wouldn't it mean our Tianxian Holy Land is unreasonable? However, at this moment, a Grand Elder slowly stepped forward and said, and this Grand Elder was precisely the Grand Elder of the Clear Wind Sword Immortal lineage. He naturally knew about Chu Fan, and the recent narration from the Xiantian lineage made him understand the conspiracy within. So at this moment, he naturally could not directly give up the peerless prodigy of his lineage, even if the peerless prodigy of his lineage had already had his talent crippled. But he could still use this crippled prodigy to strike a blow against the Xiantian lineage. Old Fourth, I disagree with that statement. What matter hasn't been investigated clearly? Hasn't the whole story already been told by Xiantian? Exactly. If you ask me, the Holy Land should directly issue a warrant for Chu Fan. Only then can our Holy Land be righteous. I also agree with the Holy Land issuing a warrant for Chu Fan. However, those who gloated far outnumbered those who hoped for an investigation. The other Grand Elders, after hearing the Grand Elder's words, all stepped forward to refute him. At the same time, several Grand Elders even had schadenfreude in their eyes. Since that is the case, then issue the Holy Lord's order. Chu Fan colluded with external forces, attempted to frame Xiantian, and murdered so many genius disciples of our Holy Land. From this day forward, Chu Fan is to be thoroughly pursued. The Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land, after hearing the words of the Grand Elders present, helplessly issued the Holy Lord's order, and this so-called Holy Lord's order was precisely the Tianxian Holy Land's pursuit order. Whenever the Tianxian Holy Land's pursuit order was issued, the person being pursued had almost no hope of survival. The moment the Holy Lord of the Tianxian Holy Land issued the pursuit order, Clear Wind Sword Immortal seemed to age several decades. At this moment, he also knew that no matter what, he could not change this pursuit order. Then his eyes filled with murderous intent as he looked at Xiantian and the Grand Elder behind Xiantian. Finally, Clear Wind Sword Immortal transformed into a streak of light and disappeared from the main hall of the Tianxian Holy Land. At this time, he was going to find his disciple. Even if he had to become an enemy of the entire world, he would rescue his disciple. Xiantian originally had no children. From the very beginning, he had regarded Chu Fan and Shao Zi as his own children, so he naturally could not stand by and watch Chu Fan get into trouble. And just as Clear Wind Sword Immortal left the Tianxian Holy Land, the Tianxian Holy Land's pursuit order was also directly issued. Instantly, this news quickly spread throughout the Tianxian Holy Land. Those elders and disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land who did not understand the truth looked at this pursuit order with incredulous eyes. They had not expected that the usually gentle saint would collude with outsiders to frame his own true disciple and quasi-saint son. I never thought that the saint, who is usually so gentle, would secretly try to assassinate the prodigies of our Tianxian Holy Land. He deserves it. Chu Fan probably won't escape the Tianxian Holy Land's pursuit order now, right? The pursuit order is the most powerful thing in our Tianxian Holy Land. In tens of thousands of years, no one has ever been able to escape our Tianxian Holy Land's pursuit order. But I heard that Chu Fan's Supreme Bone has already been crippled, so doesn't that mean he's a cripple now? The disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land also began to discuss the moment they received this news. Some people did not believe that Chu Fan was as described in the pursuit order. However, their voices were quickly, completely drowned out by the excited voices. This caused the entire Holy Land to start complaining about Chu Fan. Of course, there was also excitement in their eyes. If they pursued and found Chu Fan, the Holy Land's reward would definitely not be small. Therefore, the disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land began to act. What's more, Chu Fan's Supreme Bone had already been crippled. Then he was no longer a prodigy. His cultivation might even be lower than that of these disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land. Just as the disciples of the Tianxian Holy Land were conducting their pursuit, at this moment, in the palace where Clear Wind Sword Immortal resided, Shao Zi looked at the pursuit order in her hand with incredulous eyes. She had not expected her senior brother to be pursued by the entire Tianxian Holy Land. Just the fact that her senior brother had watched her grow up since childhood made Shao Zi disbelieve this. Moreover, Chu Fan was Chu Fan's brother. Thinking of this, Shao Zi's eyes were filled with worry. She had originally thought that she would soon meet the person she longed for. But she had not expected that before she could meet the person she longed for, the brother of the person she longed for had already become a wanted criminal of the Tianxian Holy Land. Chapter 471 Turmoil in the Central Region. Chu Fan arrives in the Central Region. However, at this moment, she could do nothing. Shao Zi could only silently pray for her senior brother. Meanwhile, Xiantian and Xiantian's father had returned to their residence. Xian Tian's face was etched with fury. The gentle demeanor he wore moments ago in the main hall was gone. It was replaced by anger and gloom. I didn't expect that Aunt Chu Chun would rather destroy the Supreme Bone than give it to me. Immediately afterward, Xian Tian's furious voice rang out, his eyes filled with hatred. If Chu Chan were standing before him right now, he would definitely tear him limb from limb. Xian Tian's father also didn't expect the Supreme Bone to have such a function. However, since he destroyed his Supreme Bone, then we shouldn't watch him return alive. A gloomy expression also clouded Xian Tian's father's face. He hadn't expected that even with such perfect planning, Chu Chen managed to destroy the Supreme Bone and escape. Instantly, he felt like he had lost the wife and forfeited the army. However, what was more important now was preventing Chu Chen from returning. Otherwise, the plot they designed to frame Chu Chen would naturally be exposed. Immediately afterward, Xian Tian's father dispatched 3 Saint King level experts to pursue and kill Chu Chen. He refused to believe that 3 Saint King level experts couldn't eliminate Chu Chen. A few days passed quickly. During these few days, news regarding the Tianxian Holy Land spread throughout the entire central region. Many loose cultivators in the central region began to mobilize. After all, if they could capture the former saint of the Tianxian Holy Land, the cultivation resources they might obtain could raise their cultivation base by several levels. At the same time, the peak powers in the central region also began to stir. At the Heavenly Dao Alliance, as the central region's most prominent power, they naturally received the news about the Tianxian Holy Land. I didn't expect Chu Chen, this prodigy who possessed the Supreme Bone, to be so easily crippled. It seems our plan can now be implemented. The Tiandao Alliance leader, with a glint in his eyes, said this to a great saint-level expert beside him. Alliance leader, if Chu Chen truly is that kind of person, why should our Heavenly Dao Alliance recruit him? The Tiandao Alliance leader then laughed disdainfully after hearing the words of the great saint-level elder of the Heavenly Dao Alliance beside him. He naturally understood what the experts of these so-called major forces were thinking. Do you think this matter is real? If it were true, how could he destroy his own Supreme Bone? Someone likely wanted to dig out his Supreme Bone and transplant it into themselves, and Chu Chen only chose to destroy the Supreme Bone as a last resort, right? This was also the grand aspiration of the Heavenly Dao Alliance when it was founded. This is why the Heavenly Dao Alliance was able to grow to this extent so quickly, because many people in the Heavenly Dao Alliance despise these so-called peak powers. The Alliance leader means that Xian Tian wanted to dig out Chu Chen's Supreme Bone, but Chu Chen ultimately escaped, forcing Xian Tian to push all the blame onto Chu Chen. This Heavenly Dao Alliance elder looked at the Tiandao Alliance leader with a shocked expression after hearing his words. At this moment, he finally understood the thoughts in his alliance leader's heart. Furthermore, if this was truly the case, then these so-called peak powers were truly shameless. Of course, the Heavenly Dao Alliance was not the only one with this idea. The experts of other peak powers had already roughly guessed what happened. After all, Chu Chen was the saint of the Tianxian Holy Land and the next Holy Lord. How could he possibly do something that would ruin his own future? It could be said that all of this was merely rhetoric put out by the Tianxian Holy Land to convince loose cultivators and those with low cultivation bases. As for the masters and experts of their peak powers, how could they possibly believe such an awkward excuse? However, the speed at which this matter spread far exceeded everyone's imagination. In less than half a month, it had spread throughout the entire central region. Even the loose cultivators in the central region were secretly cursing Chu Chen. Naturally, many people were gloating at his misfortune. While everyone was searching for Chu Chen's whereabouts, in an inconspicuous valley in the central region, a middle-aged man was sitting cross-legged, continuously recovering from his injuries. However, due to the law of time, this middle-aged man's cultivation realm was currently only at the entering saint realm. Beside him lay a crystal coffin. Inside the crystal coffin lay a white-haired young man. I didn't expect this law of time to be so terrifying. In 1 month, I only managed to recover to the entering saint realm. Alas, the middle-aged man slowly opened his eyes, speaking with a hint of helplessness. However, when he looked at the crystal coffin in front of him, his face was filled more with sorrow. This middle-aged man was Chu Chen's guardian. During these few days, he had naturally heard the rumors circulating in the central region. It was precisely because of this that he chose to go into seclusion in the valley. After all, if he went out, the Tianxian Holy Land probably wouldn't let him go. Moreover, this middle-aged man was extremely loyal to Clear Wind Sword Immortal, so he naturally couldn't stand by and watch Clear Wind Sword Immortal's disciple perish here. The only unfortunate thing was that due to entering the time tunnel, everything they carried was destroyed. Even the sound transmission talismans they usually used to communicate were utterly destroyed by the River of Time. Therefore, The middle-aged man was currently unable to contact Clear Wind Sword Immortal. Thus, he planned to recover his cultivation to the Saint King realm here before going to search for Clear Wind Sword Immortal. Only by doing this could he prove their innocence and exact revenge. Thinking of this, a flash of anger appeared in the middle-aged man's eyes. Immediately afterward, the middle-aged man slowly placed the crystal coffin into his storage ring, then once again entered seclusion to recover his cultivation. Just as the entire central region was in an uproar, Chu Fan arrived at the border of the central region, riding his Qilin war chariot. This was his first time coming to the central region. It was also the first time Chu Fan had felt such anger since his transmigration. Just after arriving in the central region, Chu Fan's Qilin war chariot had just stopped. Many assassins from the underworld appeared before him. "Greetings, Master of the Manor." All the underworld assassins respectfully cupped their hands and bowed to Chu Fan. "Proceed to the underworld." Chu Fan waved his hand directly at the assassins present, speaking in a calm yet hoarse tone. Following this, the underworld assassins led the way for Chu Fan. Chapter 472, The Shock Brought by the Qilin Chariot. Chu Fan learns about the heavenly profound Holy Land. At this moment, Chu Fan was extremely furious, which was why his voice was so hoarse. The assassins from the underworld were also very swift, quickly leading Chu Fan towards the underworld's direction. Of course, the golden Qilin war chariot Chu Fan was riding was also very conspicuous. As it passed through the sky, it left a golden streak of light. This golden streak of light instantly caused all the cultivators in the places it passed to look up at the golden light in the sky. It should be known that many cities do not allow cultivators to fly over them. However, Chu Fan was now brazenly driving the Qilin war chariot through the sky. This immediately caused dissatisfaction among many factions. Of course, no matter how dissatisfied these factions were, they couldn't take any other action against Chu Fan. After all, the anger in Chu Fan's heart was extremely powerful at this moment. Moreover, he didn't pay any attention to these cultivators in the central domain. What's more, the Saint King level and Great Saint Realm Chi from the underworld assassins around Chu Fan thoroughly erupted. Therefore, although these cultivators were somewhat dissatisfied, they didn't dare to vent their anger at this time. Furthermore, the underworld assassins were wearing underworld attire, and naturally, someone recognized the underworld attire worn by the assassins. These are assassins from the underworld. Why are they appearing so openly here today? And that golden Qilin war chariot in the center of this group of underworld assassins is even more terrifying. Is some important figure heading to the underworld? A great saint-level expert looked up at the golden light slowly passing through the sky, his eyes filled with solemnity. Only great saint-level experts like him could perceive the power of the golden war chariot. It should be known that the cultivation of each Qilin pulling the chariot had already reached the great saint level. This also indicated how noble the identity of the person inside this Qilin war chariot was. And the people around him, after hearing his words, also looked at the sky with incredulous expressions. It's probably an important figure from the underworld who has appeared, but why would an important figure from the underworld appear on the edge of the central domain? Shouldn't they all be in the underworld? Although I don't know why an important figure from the underworld would appear here, the central domain will likely be very lively next. After all, every time the underworld appears, it brings a terrifying crisis to the central domain. Yes, the last time so many top assassins appeared in the underworld, and this time, an existence suspected to be an important figure from the underworld has appeared again. I'm afraid the underworld will once again bring an even greater shock to the central domain. I just don't know which faction the underworld will target this time. If the underworld targets the Blood Rain Tower, then it might be even more interesting. The cultivators of the central domain also began to speculate at this time, with many of them wondering why the underworld would send out so many assassins. At the same time, they were also guessing who this important figure from the underworld was who appeared this time. Of course, most importantly, many cultivators speculated whether this incident involving the underworld was related to the Blood Rain Tower. Although the great battle between the underworld and the Blood Rain Tower had long ended, the relationship between the underworld and the Blood Rain Tower had always been in a state of intense conflict. Just as the cultivators of the central domain were speculating, Chu Fan, on the other side, also followed the underworld assassins to the underworld's base. At this moment, the underworld looked very majestic. One could tell at a glance that the underworld was not simple. And more importantly, there was also a formation outside the underworld. Even a great saint-level expert passing by here would not know that the underworld was hidden inside. As soon as he arrived outside the underworld, Chu Fan saw Wang Chongyang and others waiting outside the underworld to welcome him. Even Sword God and Sword Immortal and others appeared outside the underworld. Sword God and Sword Immortal's cultivation had already reached the late-stage Great Sage. One could say that both of them were among the most top-tier existences within the Great Saint Realm. After all, it was still easy for them to defeat Great Save Perfection Realm experts. We pay our respects to the Emperor. Upon seeing Chu Fan's arrival, the numerous underworld assassins and experts present all bowed to him. At the same time, their faces were also filled with respect. Chu Fan saw the underworld assassins bowing to him and calmly waved his hand. How was the investigation in my elder brother's matter progressing? Then, he slowly approached Wang Chongyang and asked him. He had long ago issued this message to the underworld, and also instructed the underworld to begin investigating Chu Qian of Tianxian Holy Land. Given the underworld's current power in the central domain, Chu Fan believed they should have almost completed the investigation. Reporting to the Emperor, we have almost completed the investigation regarding Eldest Young Master's whereabouts. However, there is no trace of Eldest Young Master at this time. The underworld has only found out that the one who attacked Eldest Young Master was the Xian family lineage within the Tianxian Holy Land. After hearing Chu Fan's words, Wang Chongyang slowly stepped forward and spoke to Chu Fan, but when he said this, his eyes carried a hint of killing intent. Although Wang Chongyang usually appeared very amiable, his way of doing things was very ruthless, which was, of course, due to his management of the underworld. Moreover, in his heart, anyone who touched his emperor's family should be killed. What was the specific reason? Was the Xian family afraid of my elder brother's talent? Chu Fan frowned after hearing Wang Chongyang's words. He hadn't expected that his elder brother's life-threatening situation was due to matters within the Holy Land. And more importantly, now even the underworld couldn't find his elder brother's whereabouts, which made him somewhat troubled. According to the information from the underworld assassins, the Xian family likely wanted to dig out Eldest Young Master's supreme bone for Xian Tian, the prodigy of the Xian family's current generation. That's why they sent 2 Saint King level experts to hunt down Eldest Young Master during the Saint's Sun Challenge tournament. However, Eldest Young Master escaped in the secret realm due to his supreme bone, but Eldest Young Master's current whereabouts are indeed unknown. Wang Chongyang slowly stepped forward to explain at this time, and he also completely branded the Xian Tian family with the underworld's label. As long as his emperor gave the order, the underworld would dispatch all its assassins to Tianxian Holy Land to kill the Xian family lineage. They're truly seeking death. So how is Tianxian Holy Land responding to this matter now? After listening to Wang Chongyang's words, a hint of killing intent instantly appeared in Chu Fan's eyes. Then, he suppressed the killing intent in his heart and asked Wang Chongyang. Of course, what Chu Fan wanted to know most at this moment was his elder brother's whereabouts. He wanted to see if Tianxian Holy Land had any information about his elder brother's whereabouts. Chapter 473, Chu Fan's Killing Intent, Exchanging Summoning Cards, Summoning Quasi-Emperor Late, Stage, Jun Wuyo. When Wang Chongyang heard Chu Fan's words, his expression instantly became unnatural. Then, he spoke with a hint of resentment. The Holy Lord of Tianxian Holy Land issued an order to hunt down the Eldest Young Master. Although the Eldest Young Master escaped the pursuit of Xian Tian and his 2 Saint Kings in the secret realm, his supreme bone was destroyed as a result. Wang Chongyang's words carried a strong killing intent. Clearly, he was very displeased with Tianxian Holy Land's actions at this moment. After all, the Saint of Tianxian Holy Land, who possessed the supreme bone, was their own Eldest Young Master and also the biological elder brother of their emperor. This naturally made the assassins of their netherworld feel extremely dissatisfied with Tianxian Holy Land's actions. Gather the netherworld assassins. All of them are to go out and search for my elder brother's whereabouts. Of course, the top assassins will remain. 3 days from now, we will ascend to Tianxian Holy Land. This lord demands an explanation from Tianxian Holy Land. Otherwise, this lord does not mind eradicating the entire Tianxian Holy Land. Chu Fan became even more furious after hearing Wang Chongyang's words. He then directly issued an order to Wang Chongyang. After giving the order, Chu Fan walked directly towards the tall building of the netherworld. At this moment, the anger in his heart had completely erupted, although Tianxian Holy Land probably had quasi-emperor level powerhouses. However, their Great Xia dynasty was not without quasi-emperor level powerhouses. What's more, Chu Fan had brought all the top powerhouses of the Great Xia dynasty with him to the netherworld this time, so he was not afraid of Tianxian Holy Land. Upon entering the room in the netherworld, Chu Fan's face was filled with killing intent. Then, he slowly turned his gaze towards the system space. Currently, there was still 1 unlimited summoning card, 1 Great Sage summoning card, and 3 Saint King summoning cards in the system space. The Saint King summoning cards were not of much use to Chu Fan at the moment. After all, summoning Saint King level cultivators would not have much effect for Chu Fan now. Therefore, his gaze involuntarily turned towards the Great Sage summoning card and the Unlimited summoning card. Although the Great Xia dynasty currently possessed several quasi-emperors, who knew how strong the powerhouses in Tianxian Holy Land truly were. So, Chu Fan naturally couldn't take such a risk so easily at this time. This was also why he gave the Netherworld 3 days to prepare. System, how many Quasi-Emperor summoning cards can I exchange for with my current national destiny value? Chu Fan slowly spoke to his system, and after he finished, his eyes held a hint of anticipation. Ding! Host current national destiny value can be exchanged for 2 Quasi-Emperor summoning cards, or 4 unlimited summoning cards. As soon as Chu Fan's words fell, the system's voice echoed in his mind. However, this time, the system not only explained how many Quasi-Emperor summoning cards could be exchanged with the current national destiny value, but also stated how many unlimited summoning cards could be exchanged. Chu Fan was a little surprised after hearing the system's voice. He didn't expect the system to allow him to exchange for 4 unlimited summoning cards this time. However, 4 unlimited summoning cards had both advantages and disadvantages for him. If 4 cultivators of Great Saint level or below were summoned, then these 4 unlimited summoning cards would be inferior to 2 Quasi-Emperor summoning cards. But if more than 3 Quasi-Emperors could be summoned, then the unlimited summoning cards would surpass the Quasi-Emperor summoning cards. The Quasi-Emperor level powerhouses on my side are all very strong, so I'll just exchange them for unlimited summoning cards. After a moment of thought, Chu Fan made up his mind. Although Quasi-Emperor summoning cards were more beneficial for the powerhouses he summoned, he believed in his luck. At the same time, Chu Fan also knew that the Quasi-Emperors on his side currently included 2 top-tier Quasi-Emperors, so even summoning 2 more Quasi-Emperors would not have a significant impact on their side. Therefore, it was better to place all hope on the unlimited summoning cards. System, use all national destiny value to exchange for 4 unlimited summoning cards. Then, Chu Fan directly exchanged all his national destiny value for unlimited summoning cards. The next second, for more unlimited summoning cards appeared in his system space. And now, he possessed a total of 6 unlimited summoning cards. Let's use the unlimited summoning cards and the Great Sage summoning card. Looking at the summoning cards lying in his system space, Chu Fan had no hesitation and decided to summon them immediately. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully using a Great Sage summoning card and successfully obtaining the Great Saint level summon character, Long Pa Tian, from the Xuanhuan world. The first card that appeared before Chu Fan was a Great Saint level summoning card, and the first character summoned was Long Pa Tian, a character from the Xuanhuan world. Chu Fan immediately clicked on Long Potion's introduction. Long Potion's introduction was quite good, and Long Potion's cultivation was also at the Great Sage Perfection realm. For a Great Sage summoning card, summoning Long Pa Tian was very beneficial to him. Then, Chu Fan turned his gaze to the second unlimited summoning card. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining the Great Saint level summon weapon, Heavenly Halberd. This unlimited summoning card was not of much use to Chu Fan, because it only summoned a Heavenly Halberd, and it was also a Great Saint level summon weapon. One must know that even a Quasi-Emperor level summon weapon was not of much use to Chu Fan. Of course, if it were a Quasi-Emperor level weapon summoning card, then Chu Fan would have a Quasi-Emperor level character under him who possessed a Quasi-Emperor level weapon. Of course, the weapons of these characters summoned by Chu Fan would also improve as their own strength increased. Then, Chu Fan directly skipped this unlimited summoning card and turned his gaze to the next unlimited summoning card. And this unlimited summoning card slowly turned purple under Chu Fan's gaze, and then a purple figure slowly appeared before Chu Fan. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully summoning the Quasi-Emperor level character, Jun Wuyo. Chu Fan didn't expect that the unlimited summoning card would summon a Quasi-Emperor level character on only the second try. However, he had never heard of the name Jun Wuyo. So, Chu Fan immediately clicked on Jun Wuyo's introduction at this moment. And the moment it opened, Jun Wuyo's cultivation immediately appeared before Chu Fan. Chu Fan didn't expect that Jun Wuyo's cultivation had reached the Quasi-Emperor late stage. For Chu Fan, a Quasi-Emperor late-stage powerhouse could indeed increase the strength of the Great Xia dynasty. And this time, Chu Fan was originally aiming to summon Quasi-Emperor level characters. Jun Wuyo was a character from Xuanhuan novel, which is a good start for Chu Fan. Then, Chu Fan slowly turned his gaze to the next unlimited summoning card. Chapter 474, The Shadow Legion's 3 Quasi-Emperors, the Heavenly Demon Emperor, and the Alternative Supreme, being Chuaning. A Quasi-Emperor level expert was indeed very friendly to Chu Fan summoning this time. At the same time, it was also a good start. As Chu Fan looked towards the next unlimited summoning card, soon, a purple light also flickered on this unlimited summoning card. However, this time, the purple light carried specks of golden light. Clearly, the summon character this time was not as simple as imagined. Subsequently, a group of figures appeared on this summoning card. The leading figure was dressed in a mysterious black battle armor, and the entire person looked exceptionally heroic. Ding! Congratulations, host, for successfully summoning the Quasi-Emperor level army, Shadow Legion. After seeing the appearance of this army, Chu Fan curiously opened the army's introduction. Then, the introduction of the Shadow Legion completely appeared before Chu Fan. The Shadow Legion is led by a late-stage Quasi-Emperor expert and 2 early-stage Quasi-Emperor vice-generals. This means that the Shadow Legion possesses 3 Quasi-Emperor level experts. In addition to these 3 Quasi-Emperor level experts, there are also 100 Great Saint level experts and 1,000 Saint Kings, while the number of Saint entry-level individuals reaches 10,000. Although the number of the Shadow Legion is not large, every individual in the Shadow Legion has already reached the entering Saint realm, and more importantly, every soldier in the Shadow Legion is immortal. After being killed by others, they will turn into shadows and then reappear before everyone. They are immortal beings. This is also why the Shadow Legion could enter the Golden Light. After reading the introduction of the Shadow Legion, Chu Fan nodded in satisfaction. Just this Shadow Legion alone made Chu Fan feel that this unlimited summoning card was very worthwhile. He then slowly put down the Shadow Legion summoning card. Only then did he look towards the 4th unlimited summoning card. At this moment, this unlimited summoning card also slowly opened. However, to Chu Fan's surprise, what appeared before him after this unlimited summoning card opened was still purple. One must know that he had already continuously opened purple light. A purple summon character is at least a Great Saint level expert, which means that the summon character from a purple summoning card is at least a Quasi-Emperor level existence. Ding! Congratulations, host, for successfully summoning the Quasi-Emperor level character, Heavenly Demon Emperor. As this purple summoning card slowly appeared in Chu Fan's mind, a fierce-looking figure immediately appeared in Chu Fan's mind. At the same time, the introduction of the Heavenly Demon Emperor also reappeared in Chu Fan's mind. The Heavenly Demon Emperor, summoned this time, was only in the mid-stage Quasi-Emperor, but for Chu Fan, it was already enough. After all, 5 Quasi-Emperor level experts had already been summoned at once. Chu Fan naturally felt that this summoning was enough. And the Heavenly Demon Emperor was precisely the Heavenly Demon Emperor from the Immortal Sword world. Chu Fan was naturally very familiar with him. Chu Fan then looked towards the next unlimited summoning card. And this unlimited summoning card was constantly spinning at this time. Soon, a blue light also appeared directly on this unlimited summoning card. Chu Fan, who had been holding a glimmer of anticipation, instantly lost the look of anticipation on his face after seeing this blue light. Because the blue light represents that the strongest character summoned on this summoning card is only in the Great Saint realm. And the fact was exactly as Chu Fan had guessed. This blue summoning card slowly opened, and then a figure appeared on the blue summoning card. Ding! Congratulations, host, for successfully summoning the Great Saint level character, Shaolin Sweeper Monk. Soon, an ordinary-looking old monk appeared on this blue summoning card, but the old monk exuded a good chi. And this chi belonged to the Great Saint level. Upon seeing that this blue summoning card indeed summoned a Great Saint level character, Chu Fan did not show much expression on his face. After all, a Great Saint level character was a decent existence for him. Then, the introduction of the Sweeper Monk also appeared before Chu Fan. And the Sweeper Monk was the Sweeper Monk Chu Fan knew. His strength reached the late-stage Great Sage, belonging to the same realm as the current Sword God and Sword Immortal. After a glance, Chu Fan directly skipped this summoning card and then looked towards the last summoning card. As Chu Fan looked towards the last summoning card, the light on the last summoning card also began to slowly change. Soon, the light on this summoning card directly turned into specks of starlight, and these starlights were still constantly combining. Subsequently, a golden light instantly appeared on the summoning card, and these golden lights were still continuously erupting at this time. Soon, a golden figure appeared on this golden summoning card. Ding! Congratulations, host, for successfully summoning the Quasi-Emperor level character, Chuaning. Upon hearing the system's voice, a pleasant surprise instantly appeared on Chu Fan's face. He had originally thought it was just a Quasi-Emperor level character. But after hearing the name of the summoned Quasi-Emperor character, Chu Fan instantly looked towards this person's introduction. After all, he had heard this name in a novel, and the fact was exactly as he had thought. The moment he opened Chuan Ying's introduction, Chuan Ying's cultivation panel appeared before him. Chuan Ying was not a cultivator in the peak Quasi-Emperor realm. Of course, his cultivation was not in the Quasi-Emperor realm, nor had his cultivation broken through to the Great Emperor realm. Instead, he was in a state of alternative path to enlightenment, which means that the current Chuan Ying could fight against Great Emperor level experts. And the name of his realm was also called Supreme Being, a realm Chu Fan had not heard of in this world. However, Chu Fan knew that the Supreme Being Realm and the Great Emperor Realm in this world should not differ much. Because Chuaning was in existence in the original work who could fight against Great Emperor Realm experts. He just hadn't broken through to the Great Emperor Realm himself. And the so-called Supreme Being Realm here should be as Chu Fan imagined in his mind. Supreme Being Realm experts are formed by those Great Emperor Realm experts who have self-severed a portion of their power. Therefore, the current Chuaning should be able to fight against those Great Emperor Realm experts who have self-severed a portion of their power and even defeat them. But it would still be difficult to defeat truly Great Emperor Realm experts. After all, Great Emperor Realm experts can destroy a piece of heaven and earth at will.